Fox Sports.
We are Buffalo. We are Arizona.
The Diamondbacks All-Star Patrick Corbin takes the mound tonight in his first appearance since the Midsummer Classic. The Diamondbacks offense has struggled recently, and what better way to get things back on track than having Corbin start tonight? The Diamondbacks have won 17 of 19 when their young lefty ace is on the mound. It's Game 2 against the Cubs, next on Fox Sports Arizona. Tonight, back home in the Valley, it's game number 100 on the season for the Arizona Diamondbacks in a neck-and-neck race with the LA Dodgers. Kirk Gibson, a different look to his lineup today, but a familiar face on the mound. It's All-Star ace Patrick Corbin getting the start tonight in downtown Phoenix. 99 degrees outside, a comfortable 79 degrees with the roof and panels closed here inside. And good evening from Chase Field, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brentley along the way. Game 2 tonight of this 4-game series with the Chicago Cubs. And Bob, it's been a hot topic here over the last week or so. In fact, the last 11 games. Where's the offense? What's happened?
I'm not quite sure, partner. They swept the Colorado Rockies and looked really good doing it. They hit the ball well, but then in 11 games since that sweep, just can't seem to string anything together. The batting average is low. The slugging percentage is ridiculously low. Batting average with runners in scoring position has been an issue all season. They've got to find a way to get the bats going, give this pitching staff some support.
And Kirk Gibson has been mixing up his lineups. A different look to the lineup tonight for the Diamondbacks. We'll have that for you coming up just before first pitch as they try and find some offense here. Only 2.5 runs per game over the last 11. But two reasons for optimism here tonight. One, Patrick Corbin is on the mound. The other is the rest of this homestand. It's not exactly, Bob, like the 27 Yankees are coming in here.
We talk all the time, you never take an opponent for granted. But come on, it's the Cubs and the Padres. D-backs have got to make some hay the rest of this homestand and get ready for a brutal road trip.
Well, this is a good start here with Patrick Corbin, the All-Star ace, on the mound. When we come back, we'll preview the pitching matchup. A pair of lefties today at Chase Field with Wood versus Corbin. D-backs will turn to their All-Star ace to try and get off the schneid here with the Dodgers having passed them for the division lead. It's only a half game, a chance to get back on top tonight with Corbin going for the D-backs. Sales event is here by George Brazil. George Brazil guarantees the lowest price on a new AC system. Call George today. By Elysium from the director of District 9 in theaters August 9th. And by Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build. part by Lexus. The Golden Opportunity Sales event is here. By George Brazil. George Brazil guarantees the lowest price on a new AC system. Call George today. By Elysium, from the director of District 9 in theaters August 9th. And by Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
For 66 straight days, the Arizona Diamondbacks were the leaders of the National League West. They begin tonight a half game back of the Dodgers, and they will turn to that young man right there, their left-handed ace, Patrick Corbin, to get things right once again. Corbin, an all-star this year with a record of 11-1. 18 times this season he has gone at least 6 innings for the D-backs. 10 times he has gone at least 7 innings. So they'll turn him once again tonight. He had a nice chance to take some time off since his last start back on July the 12th. He pitched 1 inning in that all-star game, but he says he is raring to go and get this second half going.
Seems like it's been forever, but the All-Star game got to throw an inning and threw a bullpen the other day, so looking forward to get that start on Tuesday, and looking forward for the second half. I feel like we got a lot to look forward on this team, and I'm excited for the second half, and we're at the top now and somewhere we want to stay, and we know the other teams in the division are going to be fighting, and they're coming, and they're getting stronger, so I'm looking forward for the challenge as well as all the other guys in this clubhouse.
And Patrick Corbin, 4-1 following a Diamondbacks loss. He is the right guy to have on the hill tonight. But will the offense come to life once again? Steve and Bob with the call live on Fox Sports Arizona after a quick timeout.
Pitching has been just fine lately, and it's unreasonable to ask these guys to go out there and shut people out every night. The hitting just hasn't synced up with the pitching. And the Diamondbacks know they are better than what they've been lately. And the pitching they've had in the meantime, while the offense has slumped, is a big part of that. And Patrick Corbin is on the mound against Dale Swaim's Chicago Cubs. Cubs' record an indicator perhaps of just how good the National League Central has been this season. Chicago 15-28 when it plays in its own division, but 29-25 against teams outside the NL Central.
You look at the St. Louis Cardinals and the Reds, and the Pirates having a resurgent year, and Cubs are looking up at the rest of those guys. Here's how Dale Swaim will line them up tonight. Junior Lake off to an unbelievable start to his major league career, hitting .529 coming into play tonight. He'll be followed by Starlin Castro, Anthony Rizzo, Alfonso Soriano, Cody Ransom, Yonder Navarro with a home run in the ball game last night. Cole Gillespie will be at right field, Darwin Barney at second, and Left-handed all-star Travis Wood on the mound tonight for the Cubs.
And the Diamondbacks have their all-star on the mound. Patrick Corbin, his 20th start this season, 11-1, a 2.35 ERA. That is fourth best in all of Major League Baseball. His walks plus hits per innings pitched, which measures how many base runners a pitcher allows, is fourth best in the league, behind only Clayton Kershaw, Matt Harvey, and Madison Bumgarner.
Of course, Patrick threw an inning in the All-Star game back at Citi Field in New York, but it's been 11 days since he last took the mound to pitch a game for the D-backs. Be interesting to see what effect that layoff will have.
Yeah, Bob, that might be the big X factor for Patrick Corbin here tonight. But as usual, it's a first pitch strike. He is the king of strike one. And he's ahead on Junior Lake, who's in there, as you mentioned, at 5.29. And what a show he put on last night. 4 for 5, including his first big league home run. Junior Lake, the speedy center fielder. He's now a converted center fielder. Came up as an infielder, but he drove in 3 of their 4 runs last night.
Had 2 bunt base hits to go along with his home run and just a regular old RBI single.
Well, he's a ton of raw tools. We've seen the speed on the bases and in the outfield, and this was the power last night.
I mentioned during last night's ball game a lot of physical resemblance to Starlin Castro. They're both long and lean. But Lake has a lot more power than Starlin Castro and figures to be a guy to hit home runs and eventually work his way down into the middle of this Cubs order.
Through his first 4 games in the big leagues, 9 hits, an OPS that's over 1,300, and it's a short list and some pretty good names on there. 9 hits or more in your first 4 major league games. Last Cub to do it, Andy Pafko in 1943. That one is chopped to shortstop, and it goes under Didi Gregorius, and Junior Lake's aboard. You don't often see that from Didi.
Like a pretty routine grounder hit right at him, just comes in and doesn't get his glove down in a good spot to smother that short hop. It sneaks underneath on into left field.
They have a hit up on the scoreboard.
That can't be right.
They have a hit on the scoreboard. All right, well, stay tuned. All right, sure. Here's Starlin Castro. Wow.
I retired way too soon. I hit a lot of those.
Yeah, you might have had a batting title or 2. There's a strike once again. Patrick Corbin throws strike 1.
Well, I'm not going to change that just yet.
Yeah, I'm going to hold off on writing anything down. Okay. Moving on. Starlin Castro at 249 and 6 home runs. Junior Lake has attempted 3 stolen bases this year. He's been caught twice, including last night. Miguel Montero threw him out.
Just one last bit of input on that scoring decision, possibly taking into consideration the fact that Junior Lake does run extremely well. He was kind of leaning out of the batter's box as he made contact. Maybe they figured they weren't going to get him anyway.
That one gets through. Will Nieves, who's starting behind the plate tonight. And Junior Lake's at second base. So some sloppy defense here to open up for the Diamondbacks.
Well, I'm assuming that's going to be a wild pitch, but I think I'll wait. That would be the 49th wild pitch of the Diamondbacks pitching staff this season. Yeah, far and away #1 in the National League, 3rd in the majors.
I'm going to write wild pitch up in the second base box. I'm leaving the first base box blank for the time being. In the meantime, 1-1 to Starlin Castro. Yes, he went. That's Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, behind the plate. Castro 2 for 5 in last night's series opener, a single and a double. And he's really swung the bat well lately. Since June 26th, he has raised his batting average for the year by 21 points. He's up to 249. He's hit safely in 7 of his last 8. 15 hits, in fact, over that span. Swing and a miss. There's the first out, recorded by Patrick Corbin. 1 away.
Well, we were bemoaning the Diamondbacks' struggles offensively, especially with runners in scoring position, as you get a look at Castro chasing that slider for strike 3. The Cubs are 2 for 31 with runners in scoring position over their last 4 ball games, so it's contagious.
Anthony Rizzo, 242 and 14 home runs. Junior Lake at second on what so far has been ruled a single and a wild pitch. Ball that went under the glove of Didi Gregorius. Once again, strike one from Patrick Corbin. That is a huge part of Patrick's game. We've talked about this. He is among the best in baseball at throwing strike one and has been all year. In fact, only the Phillies' Cliff Lee throws strike one more frequently than Patrick Corbin, 70%. And so far, perfect 3 of 3. And Bob, what's often talked about is when you throw strike one, in Patrick's case, to 7 out of every 10 hitters, then you create options for yourself, right? After that, later in the count.
Absolutely. You can expand that strike zone, and Patrick has the control to go up the ladder with a fastball or expand away with the slider. You see a little bit of a pull shift for Rizzo. He's more likely to hit the ball to left field against a left-handed pitcher. I mean, he wants to pull. He's the power in the middle of this lineup along with Alfonso Soriano, and he wants to hit the ball hard to right center or right field. But against a tough lefty like Patrick Corbin, wouldn't surprise me to see Rizzo give in and try to shoot the ball through that left side of the infield.
Alfonso Soriano on deck. His name, as we talked about yesterday, suddenly flaring up in trade rumors. Another 0-2 to Anthony Rizzo. Another strikeout for Patrick Corbin, 2 down.
Another good strike 3 slider, this time to a left-handed hitter. Patrick Corbin really commanding that pitch well in the early going. And Rizzo way out in front.
So Lake still aboard at second, now 2 outs, and here is Alfonso Soriano. 256 and 17 home runs. 0 for 4 last night with a pair of strikeouts. Patrick trying to strand that runner at second here. Boy, it's off-speed stuff is really working.
You mentioned the trade rumors surrounding Alfonso Soriano, the once and possibly future New York Yankee, if you believe the rumors.
Well, his 8-year, $136 million deal finally set to run out after next season, and so he might be a good trade deadline candidate. And sure enough, after the game last night, reports surfacing that the Yankees were interested in Soriano. Cubs GM Jed Hoyer said nothing is imminent, but they have had discussions with several teams, including the Yankees. Tim Naring, the former Red Sox infielder, is one of the top assistants to Yankees GM Brian Cashman, and Naring is here. He's been following the Cubs through Colorado and now Arizona. And Soriano, 37 years old, began his career with the Yankees in 1999, so he may end up there. We'll see. And that's the deal, Bob, right? If you're thinking about going to go after a guy like this, you send one of your trusted eyes out there and follow him around for a couple of series?
Absolutely, just to see how he's moving. Make sure there's no injury issues, no issues with running, able to throw the ball from the outfield, do everything you need to do offensively and defensively.
Broken bat, little roller up the first base line. Corbin will apply the tag to Soriano. Angel Hernandez rings him up, so they strand Lake at second. We'll head to the home half of the first at Chase Field. Over their last 11 games, and during that span they've hit a collective 194, averaging only 2.5 runs per game. They have scored 2 or fewer runs in 6 of those 11 games, and a new look to the lineup here from Kirk Gibson. Some key guys sitting this one out.
Yeah, and some real speed at the top of the order in Adam Eaton and A.J. Pollock, followed by Paul Goldschmidt in his customary 3 spot. Then it'll be Cody Ross hitting cleanup. Eric Chavez with a rare start against a lefty. Martin Prado at second base tonight. Will Nieves filling in for Miguel Montero, and Didi Gregorius at shortstop. Patrick Corbin hitting in that 9 spot.
And Miggy getting the day off against the lefty, and Aaron Hill sitting this one out. Kirk Gibson says it looks like Aaron is a little tired. He saw some fatigue in his swings, and it just looked like a guy that needed a day off. So Martin Prado is at second base, and Eric Chavez is in there at third. And Super Mario is in there in the batter's box. This is Adam Eaton with a new look. And it's right out of the Super Mario Brothers video game. Go get him. Adam in there at 185 and 2 RBIs. And breaking news into the Fox Sports Arizona newsroom. They have since changed the ruling on the Junior Lake ball. It is no longer a hit, as some predicted. It has been ruled an error on the shortstop. So there it is. It has been changed.
And rightfully so.
Yes. I see it. I'm glad I didn't write that in pen.
I'll tell you, it would help the D-backs offense an awful lot if Adam Eaton and A.J. Pollock could get on base a whole bunch of times in this game. Put some pressure on this Cubs defense. They're a ball club that can kick it around with the best of them. They've made 23 more errors this season than the Diamondbacks. 66 errors on the season. The D-backs have only made 43.
Well, Kirk Gibson said today he's going to play different guys, give different guys a rest, and he admits that the different looks to the lineup right now is the way it's going to be. Something that just has to be for a while until they figure something out. Here is Travis Wood, his 20th start. He's an all-star. Hey now, he's been very good for the Cubs. All-star selection for the first time in his career. 6-6, a 2.79 ERA. He's given up only 89 hits in just under 123 innings. That one is a high chop and a Castro at short. And just in time to get the speedy Adam Eaton. One away. AT&T Twitter poll question. Whose new look do you like better? The new Adam Eaton mustache or the beardless Ian Kennedy? You have your 2 options. You have the facial hair or the clean-shaven look. And I think, Bob, both really guys making a statement here. I'm not sure what Adam is trying to say exactly, but
I'm a big fan of the mustache.
It's worked. Here's A.J. Pollock. So tweet your vote to @Fox Sports Arizona. The clean-shaven Ian or the mustachioed, is that the word? Mustachioed Adam?
Close enough.
Sure. A.J. at 249 and 6 home runs. And talking about the lineups, Kirk Gibson said, well, we've been through this already once this year, and we'll get out of it. And he knows it's getting frustrating here, but there's still a long way to go. This is game 100 tonight. And he says the D-backs will be fine, but he admits there are some intriguing things that go on within this lineup right now, and those are the things he has to figure out. But he says, I thought this was interesting, Bob. He said right now he's really happy with the way the club has stuck together through all of this, and says the team right now is actually closer than it's ever been.
Well, it's very easy when a team goes through a stretch like this to start pointing fingers. If you guys would just score some more runs, we'd pitch a little better. Well, if you guys would pitch a little better, we wouldn't have to score so many runs. You see it happen all the time, and that is a good sign that the ball club continues to be unified, common opponent. Everybody wants to do their job, and that's the most frustrating thing. I heard Gibby talking about it after the game last night. It's not like the guys aren't trying. They come, they get their early work in, they get their video work in, read the advance reports on the opposing pitchers. They think they have a good game plan, but you see the numbers since July 8th, it just hasn't clicked.
A.J. Pollock has run it full, 3-2 against Travis Wood. Drives that one to right. Gillespie heading into the corner near the bullpen, and that ball is tracked down. What a catch by Gillespie in the corner there. And he does a terrific job to track that one down for the second out. Boy, Cole Gillespie's had a terrific series defensively so far.
Oh, he really has, and that's not an easy play. It's kind of an unusual angle out there to that bullpen fence, and Gillespie never took his eyes off that ball. Caught it about a half a step before making contact with that fence in front of the Cubs bullpen. He's made a few nice plays in this series already.
We saw the one yesterday where he slammed feet first into that padded wall down there to make a great sliding catch in foul ground, and now he tracks that one down right into the Cubs bullpen. 2 down now. Here's Goldie.
Well, A.J. Pollock put a charge on that ball. That had a chance to get out of here.
Opposite field power there from A.J. Looks at a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, you can see from the velocities Travis Wood is not overpowering by any stretch of the imagination. He'll work his fastball both directions. He'll sink it. He'll cut it. Throws a slider. Has a real good straight changeup.
It's been a nice acquisition for these guys. He's a gamer out there. Cody Ross in the cleanup spot tonight. Goldie 2 for 4 last night. Couple of singles. He also had an RBI and stole his 10th base of the year. Next home run for Paul Goldschmidt will be the 50th of his career. But home runs have been a little more hard to come by for Goldie lately. 2 home runs in his last 112 plate appearances. And the nice thing you see, Bob, is that he's not trying to hit home runs. He's okay with that. He's taking the walks. He's hitting the ball the other way. He's taking the base hits.
Yeah, and I think the scarcity of home runs has a lot to do with the guys hitting behind him. We saw him go through a stretch earlier this season where nobody could seem to get anything going in that 4 spot in the lineup. And Goldie got fewer and fewer good pitches to hit. Eventually, guys started to swing the bat a little bit better. Eric Chavez was his protection for a long time. Aaron Hill started to swing the bat well when he first came back. And Goldie started to get more good pitches to hit.
Lays off that one. It's 3-2. Every time a Diamondbacks player hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes donates $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. You see the count 3-2 right now. The hitter in the National League who's had the most at bats in full counts this season, Paul Goldschmidt, now 57 times. Previous to this, the most at bats when the count goes to 3-2, Paul Goldschmidt 56 times, and in those 56 at bats in full counts, he's hitting .375. And the next guy on that full count at bats list is the Reds' Jay Bruce. He's just a few below Goldie's 56. When Bruce is in a full count, he's hitting .275. Pops that one up near the Chicago dugout. Rizzo in foul ground. He'll give it a look, and it drifts back toward the field, and there he is. And it's a 1-2-3 home half of the first. We're through 1, no score at Chase Field.
Mallory, and Danielle is the next Fox Sports Arizona girl. Log on to girls.foxsportsarizona.com to upload your photo and submit your video for a chance to be the next Fox Sports Arizona girl.
Another good crowd tonight here at Chase Field. Watch the Diamondbacks, and there's some more good news coming your way. Right now, Blue Jays lead the Dodgers 8-6 in the 8th inning in Toronto, eh? Except that somebody just hit a home run to make it 9-8 Dodgers. Right as I was saying that, Adrian Gonzalez is rounding the bases right now at the Rogers Center. His 15th home run. Now it's 9-8. The Blue Jays bullpen has imploded and blown a giant lead. So thanks for that.
Well, with the conversion rate, though, it's not really 9 runs.
They were up. They were up 8-3 Toronto in that game. It's now 9-8 Dodgers. Yeah, see, he's still rounding the bases. Haven't had time to update the scoreboard. Cody Ransom. All right, so much for that. Good call.
Well, I'm sure I'll have a little better luck than you did. The Reds beat the Giants 9-3. That's a final.
That's a final.
Yeah.
No scoring changes in that one. They're playing 2 at AT&T Park today. One of those is a makeup game from a game in Cincinnati. So in one of those games in the Giant Red doubleheader today, the Giants are actually the visiting team. There's the 3rd strikeout for Patrick Corbin. He K's Ransom to open the second here. A little discussion with Dana DeMuth.
Dana DeMuth normally has a pretty tight strike zone, but with 2 all-star pitchers on the mound tonight, maybe calling a little bit bigger zone than normal. Yeah, the Dodgers are 9-2 in their last 11 games, averaging over 5 runs per game in that span.
Boy, the 2 teams I just don't get. I kind of get the Blue Jays a little bit because they lost Reyes for so long, but the Nationals and the Blue Jays. Explain that to me.
Can't.
What happened?
Baseball.
Yeah. Deanna Navarro. Switch hitting catcher, and there are 287 and 9 home runs. He hit number 9 last night. And he's been swinging a hot bat lately. 364 over his last dozen. This was Navarro last night in the 2nd inning against Tyler Skaggs. And Tyler really only threw 2 bad pitches, it seemed, all night long, but they both got hit for home runs. 1 to Lake and 1 to Navarro. That's a base hit. So Navarro in the 2nd inning has been the answer for the Cubs in this series so far. A home run last night and a single here tonight. First base hit now. I'm sorry, Bob, for the Cubs.
I was just going to say, coming into play, Navarro was a .533 hitter from the right side of the plate. Shoots that one through the right side, so that'll go up a little bit. Only .212 from the left side. And we were talking about the Cubs catching situation. Wellington Castillo figured to be their catcher of the future, but he's had such a miserable season offensively and has carried it behind the plate with him. It's affected his defense behind the plate. So Dale Swaim is going with his backup, Deanna Navarro, because he's swinging the hot bat.
He sure is. He's hitting. Cole Gillespie drives that one to center field. A.J. Pollock drifting near the pool. That's out number 2. Navarro back to the bag. As often as, I'm surprised we don't see more of that, as often as Patrick Corbin throws strike one, and we've talked about that 70% of the time, you would think some more guys would go up there looking for that first pitch fastball.
Well, the good news for Patrick is, even though he throws a lot of first pitch strikes, they're not right down the middle of the plate. He's not just trying to jump ahead with a fastball in the middle of the plate, middle of the thighs. He works the corners, he's up and down. Quality first pitch strikes.
Are you kidding me? Andre Ethier just hit a home run. Now it's 10-8. Thanks for playing, Blue Jays. The joys of a pennant race. Were you ever in the dugout watching the board like we are watching? We got a monitor on watching the Dodger Blue Jay game right now.
Constantly. And any manager or coach or player that tells you they don't take a peek at that out-of-town scoreboard when you're in a pennant race, they're lying to you.
Turn around and Andre Ethier's running around the bases. Again? All right, everybody makes a run. Dodgers are just making theirs. It's all part of it.
The Blue Jays still have 2 at-bats left in that game. Who knows? And I'm sure Gibby would tell you, we're just concerned with what's going on right here in front of us tonight. And that's really the only thing you can control. How you play the game, the way you compete, how you prepare.
Well, former Cub great Carlos Marmol has already pitched in that game, so there's little chance of a comeback against the Dodgers.
Do they still have Brandon Lee?
Yeah. Well, stand by. Everybody has pitched in that game, it seems. A lot of offense. 13 hits for the Dodgers, 12 for the Blue Jays. 2-1 out of Darwin Barney. That one is driven down the line and out of play. Here's one for you. This is like Carlos Marmol. 3 earned on 4 hits and 1 2/3. Thanks for playing with a home run. 29 pitches, 18 for strikes. I think that's actually one of the Dodgers' sort of quiet strength during this run, is they've pieced together a pretty decent bullpen.
Yeah, with some guys that, quite honestly, you've never heard of before. I mean, Kenley Jansen obviously moving into the closer's role kind of put everybody in a different slot in that Dodgers bullpen, but Paco Rodriguez has been unbelievable from the left side.
You get that little Dominguez kid that throws 99. Actually, Brandon League, and they may win a game in which Marmol and League both pitch. League has already pitched in that game as well. So 2-2. Patrick having to throw a lot of pitches to the bottom half of this order here.
Well, Barney can be a pesky hitter. He doesn't walk a lot either. Not many of these Cubs walk much other than Anthony Rizzo. And Barney's always been a guy that tries to inside out the ball, lead with his hands, try to shoot the ball into right field. And as skipper Dale Swaim said, enough of that. It's not working well for you. Start pulling the ball. I want to see you hit a ball down the left field corner every now and again. I want to see you hit a ball up in the bleachers. So he's trying to be more of a pull hitter in that 8 spot in the lineup. Whoa.
Just missed there, apparently. So it's full 3-2. Well, Darwin Barney's batting average has gone down every year he's been in the big leagues. 276 in 2011, 254 last year, 224 right now. So a steady 20 to 30 point decline every season. Navarro off of the pitch, and Barney lifts it into shallow left center field. A.J. Pollock is there, and that's the final out. We'll go to the home half of the second inning. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Cody Ross, Eric Chavez, and Martin Prado. No score at Chase Field. 20,000 fans for the D-backs and Padres. It's a 5:10 start, and you will take home the official D-backs Luchador mask. It's courtesy of Circle K and Univision Arizona. So call now for tickets, 602-462-4600, or log on to dbacks.com/lucha. And there is Dennis Lamb, perched high above things here, looking intimidating as always. Don't hurt yourself. Look at that. All right, I didn't know it was the gun show here. So you can have one of your very own luchador masks if you come out to the game on Saturday, and you can sit around in your living room and then make intimidating poses like Dennis does here in the booth.
Scare your neighbors. And once again, Luis Gonzalez, nowhere to be seen. I don't know.
If that has nothing to do with this. I'm told that Dennis Lamb is actually taller than the actual luchador. Is that true? There's Cody Ross. Cody on base twice last night with a walk and a double. And in there tonight against another left-hander. That's the matchup that you're looking for here. Cody, 91 at-bats against left-hand pitchers this year. And in those at-bats, he's hit .385. In fact, no player in the National League with as many at-bats has hit left-handers for a higher average than Cody Ross. Sure enough, pops that one up to right. Cole Gillespie.
I think Cody kind of jammed himself that time. Took a really big swing on the 2-0 count, looking to get a cookie, try to lift it in the air to left field, and swing got just a little bit long. That cutter got in on his hands enough to turn it into a pop-up to right field.
The familiar walk-up music of Eric Chavez back. Haven't heard that in a while here. Chase Field. Eric getting the start against the left-hander tonight at third base. Interesting. .297 on the year, 7 home runs. Grandmaster Flash in the house with Martin Prado in there at second, and Aaron Hill getting the night off. And Gibby said today, based on the things he's seen from Aaron Hill on the few of his swings lately, looks a little tired, a little fatigued with that left hand. So a night off. That one is rolled to first. Rizzo is there. Wood over the cover, 2 down. So we're trying to get Aaron Hill a night off. The dominoes fall with Prado at second and Chavez at third against the lefty Wood.
And really, Travis Wood is not the kind of lefty that left-handed hitters don't want to face. I mean, he doesn't really rely a lot on breaking pitches. He throws the cutter, he throws the changeup. He'll mix in an occasional breaking ball. It's not like facing Tyler Skaggs, where you're going to see a lot of the big yackers to left-handed hitters.
Well, for a left-hand batter facing a left-hand pitcher, the cutter will actually tail away from you, right?
Move away. And as I said earlier, Travis Wood will also sink his fastball, the 2-seamer. He'll elevate the 4-seamer, but relies heavily on that cutter.
Martin Prado. So Martin in there at second base tonight, .256 on the year, 8 home runs. He has seen action in 22 games this year at second base, and in those games he's hit .315. So pretty good fit, at least offensively. And boy, his versatility, where would they be without his versatility?
Well, especially early on when Aaron Hill was missing. Eric Chavez was battling injuries, couldn't play every day. Jason Kubel had some injuries early in the season. Prado was all over the field.
Lines that one into the seats. He sure was. And he's hit well lately since June 22nd. Martin batting .318 with 13 RBIs. Batting 6th in the lineup tonight. Talk about not only defensive versatility, but offensively. He's hit everywhere in this lineup. Whatever helps you win. That's what I'm here for. Talk to him, he'll tell you that every time. I can help you win in different ways. Chop to short, Castro from the edge of the grass. And another 1-2-3 inning. We're through 2, no score, Chase Field. Trucks Pool, great place to watch a game out there, right in right center field. Might hit a baseball, get a baseball hit to you. Sedona Red representing out there. As we start the top of the third. Now these are the seats behind, sort of behind home plate near the dugouts. And when you go there, BP, this is great. You don't have to leave your seat. You have waiters and waitresses or some of our Chase Field staff come to you, take your order. It all gets punched into the phone and they bring the food to you. And Travis Wood is a very good hitting pitcher. Leads it off with a base hits. He's got a couple of home runs this year, including a grand slam. And now that's a case of a guy who went up there looking for that first pitch strike, got it, and drilled it into the outfield.
And maybe Patrick not being quite as careful with that first pitch strike to the opposing pitcher, but you learn a lesson the tough way here. Travis Wood is a good ball player. Fields his position well, he runs well, swings the bat well, can get a bunt down. He does everything.
He's 9 for 30. Well, not now. He's 10 for 37 on the year with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. So the leadoff man on for the Cubs against Patrick Corbin. That's their second hit. Here's Junior Lake. Reached on an error his first time up.
Yeah, going back to the beginning of the 2010 season, only Giovanni Gallardo of the Brewers has more homers as a pitcher. Gallardo with 8 homers, Travis Wood with 5.
Yeah, he's got kind of that whole gym rat ball player vibe to him. Like he could play second base for you, he could pitch, he could play center field, whatever he needed him to. He'd get you a base hit now and then. Kind of got that vibe about him. And get used to seeing perhaps Junior Lake here in this order, and certainly in center field and maybe in the leadoff spot. Dale Swain was asked about Junior Lake last night, because he was only supposed to be here for sort of a cup of coffee while David DeJesus was out with a shoulder injury. But DeJesus is about ready to come back, and everyone went up to Dale Swain and said, well, the kid was 4 for 5, hit a home run. What are you going to do? Is there a chance that he stays with the club when DeJesus comes back? And Swain said, well, right now I'd be pretty stupid to say no. Junior Lake, 23 years old, and they're excited about his future. He's been fun to watch so far, that's for sure.
I mentioned we saw him put down 2 bunt base hits in the ball game last night and showed bunt on that pitch right there before he took it for a called strike.
Coincidentally, not ironically, the last Cub with a 4-hit game in his first 4 big league games was Steve Lake in 1983. Steve Great Lake. Nice block by Will Nieves. A 4-hit game within your first 4 major league games. 4-hit game for Junior last night. Steve Lake had a 4-hit game back in '83 in his first 4 big league games. Former Cub and Cardinal great. One and 2.
Steve Lake was a prototypical backup catcher of that era. He could hit for occasional power. If you made a mistake, he could hit it out of the ballpark, but man, could he throw. You just didn't run on Steve Lake.
He ended up starting Game 7 behind the plate for the Cardinals in the '87 World Series against the Twins at the Metrodome, when it was Joe McGrain versus Frank Viola, I believe. Popped up in the air, foul line. Goldie giving chase. Prado on the dead run, but it drops into foul ground there. Yeah, not a bad first 4 games in the big leagues. 9 hits and an OPS over 1,300. One of the Cubs' top prospects from the Dominican Republic. And the Cubs have had a lot of outfield injuries, so Junior has been getting a cup of coffee here, but he kind of wants to hang around, certainly playing that way. That's 4 strikeouts for Patrick Corbin, 1 down in the 3rd.
We talked about Junior Lake last night, and there was some speculation within the Cubs organization at one point that he was going to end up at third base. Just because of his build, you assume he's going to fill out even more, get a little bigger, a little stronger. He was a natural shortstop, but they were envisioning him moving over to the third base corner. But their #1 draft pick, Chris Bryant from University of San Diego, big power hitting third baseman. They just got Mike Old from the Texas Rangers, who's a third baseman. So I think that position is probably gone for Junior Lake, especially as he's settling in out there in center field.
And shortstop not an option, certainly, with Starlin Castro on the payroll. 7 years, $60 million. They went all in on Castro last summer. He's 0 for 1, struck out his first time. He's hit in 7 of his last 8, 15 hits over that span, and he says his timing has been helped by that new front leg lift that you'll see him do here. He's also looking for fastballs, so Patrick Corbin should be careful here. He's behind 2-0. Castro said you can't hit a good slider anyway, you can only hit a hanging slider. But if you're looking for a fastball, no matter how good it is, you might hit it. So that's what he's been doing lately. See if he gets one here on 2-0. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's the approach most big league hitters have. If an opposing pitcher has a good breaking ball and he's throwing it around the edges of the strike zone, you're probably not going to make solid contact anyway. So get on the one pitch you know you can hit. That's usually a fastball, even if it's not in the middle of the plate.
Misses there, and it's a 1-out walk for Starlin Castro. First walk issued by Patrick Corbin. Will Nieves out to the mound.
Boy, save that video.
I was going to say, there goes the WW theory.
16th walk this season in well over 400 at bats.
Dale Swayman talking about Castro's new leg kick, says it's just a matter of him lifting his leg in order to get the weight shift on his back leg again. They've had some mechanical issues with him. His swing and his batting average really tanked there for a while, but he's back on the way up. And so Patrick Corbin with some work to do here. First and second, 1 out. And Anthony Rizzo steps up. He struck out his first time.
Patrick's been pretty good over his last 5 ball games with runners in scoring position. The opposition only 2 for 23 against him. He struck out 10 batters. Use one right now.
Anthony Rizzo's power production has been much improved this year. He's already passed his RBI total from all of last year. Of course, he didn't make his Cubs debut last season until June 26th. He was in the minor leagues for the first 73 games. He's only 1 off his big league home run total from last year. So as Bob mentioned earlier, he is the sort of power producer in this lineup. The issue, though, is the average. It's down by more than 40 points. Two for 23 with runners in scoring position last 6 starts. Up the middle. Travis Wood will round third. He'll come on home. Here's the throw from A.J. Pollock. It's cut off. And the Cubs take a 1-0 lead. Anthony Rizzo an RBI single. That's RBI 57 for Rizzo. And it's 1-0 Chicago. 2 singles and a walk in this inning against Patrick Corbin.
That pitch out over the plate just a little bit. He had thrown a fastball right by Rizzo on the inside corner earlier in the bat, but that one straight out over the plate, enough for Rizzo to get the barrel on it and line it into center field for an RBI base hit.
That was well hit. They hold Castro up at second. Wood comes around and scores after his leadoff single, and the Cubs have a 1-0 lead. So here's Alfonso Soriano. Hit a little roller up the first base line, on which Corbin tagged him out to end the first. Big swing and a miss there, 0-1. Soriano hot, last 20 games, 10 home runs and 21 RBIs. He's slugging .741 over that span. He's been putting up some big numbers and drawing the attention of some scouts like the Yankees' Tim Naring, who's sitting behind home plate. Scouting Soriano. A reported trade between the Cubs and the Yankees is being discussed.
We talked about it last night. Soriano has a no trade clause in his contract and turned down a trade to the Giants last year. You see Tim Naehring in the black shirt right there, closely observing Alfonso Soriano. And once again, Soriano would have the right to refuse any trade if he didn't want to go.
One of the top assistants to Yankees GM Brian Cashman, Tim Naehring, has been following Soriano around here through the Cubs series against the Rockies at Coors Field, and now here with us at Chase. And Soriano came up a Yankee, made his debut in pinstripes in 1999. He is 37 years old, and he's still a productive hitter. Led the Cubs last year with 32 home runs. His 108 RBIs were a career high. He's ahead 2-1.
Well, there was a fan here last night sitting right below our booth. Every time Soriano stepped in the batter's box, this guy would start to boo.
Yeah, I noticed that. What was that all about?
Well, he was wearing purple and teal, so I'm assuming he was still booing Soriano for the home run he hit in Game 7 back in 2001.
There are the career numbers. Soriano 11 hits away from 2,000 for the career and 11 home runs away from 400. Tim Naehring, former Red Sox great, number 11 in Boston. Used to play some shortstop and some third base, a Cincinnati Red. He might be a Moeller High School guy. Isn't he
I think you're right, yeah.
I'm going to check that right now. I think he's a Cincinnati Moeller guy.
Tim Naehring took a left turn in his career at that point when he went to Miami of Ohio.
Ooh, the Harvard of the Midwest. Wait, that's Ohio.
That's right.
Yeah, Tim Naehring from Miami, Ohio. Sorry.
Yeah, there's
an eighth round pick by the Red Sox in '88.
Enough water under that bridge. We'll just let it go.
A career 282 hitter, Tim Naehring. 3-2 to Alfonso Soriano, one away. And we'll do it again with Castro at second and Rizzo at first.
This must feel like a marathon for Alfonso Soriano, a 7-pitch at bat. This is highly unusual.
Driven to right. Cody Ross drifting near the Cub bullpen near the line. It's foul. That carried just enough to get out of trouble. A lot of discussions I've noticed here, Bob, between Will and Patrick out there on the mound. They've had a number of conferences out there, and it's only the third inning.
Yeah, just want to make sure you don't make a mistake on this guy. Soriano is a guy that can turn around a mistake in a hurry, and with a couple of Cubs on base, that would be something you would definitely want to avoid here early in the ballgame. They just want to make sure they know exactly how they want to go after him here.
There's the strike. Ring him up, sit him down. 5 strikeouts for Patrick Corbin. That's a big one there. Now 2 outs in the third. Write that down, Tim Naehring.
Another one of those high strikes by Dana DeMuth. I mentioned earlier, kind of a tight strike zone. He's historically had a tight zone. That one in the zone. Will Nieves had to reach up a little bit to catch that pitch right at the top of the strike zone. Soriano, a deadly low ball hitter, doesn't like to swing at high fastballs.
And now they'll work to the former Diamondback Cody Ransom here with the 2 on and 2 out. Castro at second and Rizzo at first. Cubs have a run in. Travis Wood a single. A walk to Castro, then an RBI single by Rizzo. Ransom struck out looking his first time up. Dodgers lead the Blue Jays 10-8, now bottom 9 at the Rogers Center in Toronto. And Kenley Jansen is on for the save for LA. Each team with 13 hits in that game.
And last night it was A.J. Ellis and Skip Schumacher doing a lot of the offensive damage for the Dodgers tonight. Adrian Gonzalez, Andre Ethier, and Mark Ellis combined 6 for 13 with 9 runs driven in, a couple of homers.
The Scruffies. part of the fun of the pennant race. You know, okay, what the Dodgers do today? What are the Giants doing? Who's pitching against us tonight?
Who's pitching for the Rockies?
Every day. 0-1 to Ransom. Cody Ransom 0 for 3 with a walk last night. He's played in 38 games for the Cubs since he was picked up on waivers from the Padres and made 29 starts. .262 with Chicago and 9 home runs. He's at .237 for the year. This guy that's actually been fairly productive for the Cubs. A nice acquisition, Cody, here. Against left-hand pitching, he's hit .253 with 7 home runs. So Patrick has to be careful here. From South Mountain Community College and GCU, Cody Ransom. Originally a 9th-round pick by the Giants back in '98. There's a strike, 2-2. And that's 60 pitches here through 2 2/3 for Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, kind of unusually high for Patrick. Some of these Cubs hitters have run some long at bats, including Alfonso Soriano. Saw 4 pitches in his first at bat, 8 in his second at bat. Patrick is used to getting contact early. First, second, third pitch of an at bat.
Had a pretty fair amount of foul balls, it seems like, too. He's got to 60 pitches, 38 for strikes. Castro at second, Rizzo at first. And again, a little reset here between Will Nieves behind the plate and Patrick Corbin on the mound. This is the 3rd time these two have hooked up as a battery, Nieves and Corbin. Here's the 2-2. He's run it full. Yonder Navarro is on deck.
That 2-2 pitch with 2 outs in an inning and runners on base. I had a coach tell me one time that's a pitch of action. You want something to happen on that 2-2 pitch. You don't want to go full because the runners are going to be on the move with 2 outs in the inning and could possibly score a couple if Ransom could either hit a well-placed single or an extra base hit.
Castro will be off from second. Rizzo will be off from first. 3-2, 2 outs. Here it is. Ring him up, sit him down. 2 big strikeouts for Patrick Corbin, 3 in this inning. And that's 6 for the ball game. He rings up Soriano and he rings up Ransom. We'll head to the home half of the 3rd. It's 1-0 Chicago. Ransom did not like the call by Dana DeMuth, and yes, he was ejected. No, actually, he was not ejected because he's still out there at third base right now. Dale Swaim was definitely ejected. This was just moments ago, and this kept going and going and going and got more heated as they went along. I mean, they're laughing about it now, but boy, they were in each other's faces there.
Yeah, both of them had a finger up in the other's face. You don't usually see that from the umpires. The manager gets carried away from time to time, but Ransom is still out there. Apparently he wasn't ejected, maybe an equipment fine.
Okay.
Umpires will occasionally fine a guy if you throw a helmet or throw your batting gloves in disgust over what you feel is a bad call, but Ransom's still down there at third base, so apparently he wasn't triggered.
Is Swaim still in the dugout? That was a pretty definitive mechanic there from Dana DeMuth. Now, I don't see Dale Swaim anywhere in the dugout.
Jamie Court, the bench coach there, will probably be the acting manager for the rest of this ball game.
I mean, the clip we showed you of DeMuth and Swaim, they were sort of joking and laughing, but a moment or so prior to that, it was pretty angry. And we can't really show it to you because if you can read lips, you might need some therapy afterwards. So apparently it's Swaim who's been ejected. Ransom remains in the game and plays third base. That was weird, wild stuff. They were going at it. In any case, we're set for baseball now. Nieves Gregorius Corbin, 7-8-9 here in the Arizona third against Travis Wood, who singled and scored a run, the only run of the game so far.
Kind of an odd little stat here for Travis Wood. Obviously, he's been tremendous all season long for the Cubs, made the National League All-Star team, but the number 8 spot in opposing lineups has hit him to the tune of 302 this season.
I like that. Didi had a big night last night.
By far and away the highest batting average of any spot in the opposing order. The second highest batting average is the 3 spot, which you would expect only 235.
You think he's taking that 8th place hitter off, knowing the pitcher is coming up?
Quite possibly, but I just thought that was extremely odd when I saw that. And for Patrick Corbin, the 5 spot in the lineup has given him issues this year. A 356 average for number 5 hitters in the opposing lineup. Real good against everybody else, but that 1 spot in the lineup has done well.
1-2 to Will Nieves at 357 on the year. And Will has really done a good job this season. He's hitting .388 over his last 21 games, both as a starter and as a sub. That one is job 5. This is his 14th start this season as the catcher. In 13 games previous to this as the starter, he's hit .352. And we've talked about this, Bob, because it comes up every now and again. With Miggy wearing down and struggling a bit offensively, maybe Will Nieves should play a little bit more.
Well, especially against some of the tough lefties. I mean, Miggy has been struggling off and on all season against all kinds of pitching, but especially against the tough lefties.
You get a guy that's hit .352 whenever he starts. That one is right to Rizzo. Tough hop there. He'll take it himself. And that's the first out. The game is over in Toronto. The Dodgers hang on and win. They beat the Blue Jays 10-9. So the Blue Jays got a late threat against Jansen, but he holds on, and the Dodgers, who were out-hit in that game 15-13, hang on, and they beat the Blue Jays 10-9. That's a final in Toronto. Didi Gregorius. So the pressure is continued from L.A. Those guys are not going away, at least not yet. Didi at .282 on the year, 5 home runs. The High Sox and the Johnny U High Tops are back. They worked last night. First pitch swinging, Darwin Barney. The Gold Glover at second, 2 down. Now, Bob, first time through this lineup against Travis Wood, and the Diamondbacks, for the most part, haven't really sniffed a base hit here.
Nothing hard hit at all. The A.J. Pollock drive down into the right field corner that Cole Gillespie made the nice running catch on was really the closest thing they've had to a base hit.
Well, you go back to June 22nd. That's when the Dodgers were 9.5 games behind the Diamondbacks. They have now won 22 of their last 27. The Diamondbacks, prior to tonight, over the same span, have gone 10-15. Throw one more time, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Travis Wood. We are through 3. D-backs trail it 1-0.
Tell you the truth, and we've managed to stay right there, on top of the leaderboard. So, we just got to focus on the little things. I think sometimes when, it gets brought to your attention that you're not hitting too well, especially through articles, media, whatever it is, guys may try a little too hard, but just guys need to get back to doing what they're doing and working hard. And every guy in here is going out there doing their best and hoping for the best. So just got to change it around here soon.
Aaron Hill with our Geico quote of the game, and the D-backs' offensive struggles continue tonight. 9 up, 9 down against the Cubs. Kurt Gibson said last night it's not for lack of effort, it's not for lack of focus. Today saying that this team is really focused on the process, not the result. And a lot of guys, he say, are in a constant state of reflection, trying to find out how to get back to doing things the right way. He says it's easy for a lot of people to give you tips and hints to get back on track, but they've got to stay with the process and get things going here, guys.
Thanks, Brad. Didi Gregorius retires Navarro to open up the 4th here against Patrick Corbin. I've talked to Miguel Montero about that, Bob, when Miggy was really scuffling back in May, and he told me that you walk around and everyone wants to help. Everyone has the best of intentions, and everyone has an idea or a thought or something they've seen, or hey, how about this, or I've noticed you're doing that or the other thing. And he says you stand there and you nod and you're politely listening, but at the same time, while you're standing there nodding, you're just not listening at all because you're just in your own world and you can't get out of your own head. You ever have that be the case?
Constantly. I mean, seriously, it all starts between your ears. You can get into batting cage and take as much extra BP. You can look at as much video as you want.
That one is lined to Cody Lawson, right? Second out.
But if you get in that batter's box and your head is not straight and you're not sure what you're looking for, and you start guessing along with the pitcher and the catcher, and you end up swinging at bad pitches, taking good pitches, and we've seen a lot of that lately. That at bat by Miguel Montero in the ballgame last night, I still can't get it out of my mind. I've never seen anything quite like it. Worked the count to 3-0, got the green light from Gibby, which we've seen all season long. Swung at ball 4 high and away, then chased a pitch low and away, fouled it into his own dugout before finally striking out. That's not a physical thing. That's between the ears. Mentally, what are you looking for? Who has the advantage in this situation? If you have a 3-0 count and the green light from your manager, the advantage is all on the hitter. We've seen some guys get up there in 2-0, 3-1 counts and take fastballs right down the middle of the plate. That's the situation that you work for to get in those good hitters counts. Let it go. Swing that bat.
Well, as they say in Cool Hand Luke, you got to get your mind right.
That's right. Shaking down here, boss.
Take it off there, Dragline. Eric Chavez, a 1-2-3-4th, a 6-pitch inning for Patrick Corbin. That is terrific. It's 1-0 Cubs as we head to the home half.
By Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And by Gila River, another proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Back at Chase Field, set for the home half of the fourth. Diamondbacks looking for their first hit against Travis Wood. They trail the Cubs 1-0. It will be the top of the order. Adam Eaton, A.J. Pollock, and Paul Goldschmidt against Wood, who has worked 3 innings so far and looked very good. And Bob, I have solved the mystery. I have broken the case wide open. I figured out with the new mustache who Adam Eaton looks like.
Okay.
I think he looks just like Bruno Kirby in Godfather 2.
Good call.
Remember the flashback scenes with De Niro when they steal the guy's carpet? They take the rug out of the house. It's De Niro, and the whole thing's in Italian. Bruno Kirby is the guy. He looks like the late... What's that dude's name again? David Arquette. That's also a very good call. I kind of like my own Bruno Kirby, but you get where we're going with this. Super Mario Brothers is another one. That's a little bit much. I don't think he's got the hair to pull that off. Stay classy, you guys in the truck. Bert, now that's fantastic. Come on. The king.
He invented the mustache.
But I'm going Bruno Kirby Godfather 2 for Adam Eaton and the new look. Doesn't matter what he looks like, just get a base hit,
yeah,
right?
Get on base. Let's see if that mustache is aerodynamic as you run around the bases.
Adam has hit safely in 4 of his 10 games since he returned from that elbow injury that forced him to miss the first 89 games of the year. Hard to right, off the glove of Rizzo, and that's a base hit. Look out for that speed. Adam thought about it, and then wisely stays put at first. That's the first Diamondback hit tonight. The Bruno Kirby mustache is 1 for 1.
Now Rizzo able to get a glove on that smash off the bat of Adam Eaton, but couldn't corral it. Ball hit too hard to his right, got the glove up, knocked it down. That's where Adam had thoughts about breaking for second, but Darwin Barney won the Gold Glove for a reason. He's a very alert defender out there at second base. Got on that ball quickly, held Adam to a single.
Okay, Bob, here we go. We've seen this lineup with Eaton, and whether it's Eaton and Parra up there or tonight Eaton and Pollock, you've got some speed up there. You've got guys that can attack. Is this a point at which you attack? Nothing. It's been pretty quiet offensively so far. Very quiet, in fact. Change the tone and tenor.
You'd like to. It's tough to get a jump on Travis Wood. He's very hard to run on. He's got a good pickoff move to first. He's very quick to home plate. You can run on Deoner Navarro behind home plate, but you have to get the jump against the pitcher, and that's the wild card. Usually against tough lefties that have a good pickoff move to first base and are quick to home plate, you're better off playing hit and run. But even then, it's tough for that runner at first base to get much of a jump.
Adam does not have a stolen base yet this season. 2-hole has been a rare spot for A.J. Pollock this year, but the few times A.J. has batted second, it's worked out well. He's hit .368 in 4 starts, batting second in the lineup, including 3 home runs. We'll keep a close eye over there on Super Mario.
Anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations. Now, Wood also has one of those step-off, snap-throw pickoff moves.
There goes Eden, and they've got him picked off. You called it. He is tough to run on.
Well, we saw a slide step pickoff move. This the higher leg kick pickoff move. I mentioned he had that step off move. He really has everything necessary to slow down or completely stop an opponent's running game.
A pickoff caught stealing, 1-3-4. And that's the first out. In the meantime, it's a 1-1 count now. Base is empty for A.J. Pollock. Talking about that move.
We talk a lot about the video homework that players do, especially looking at opposing pitchers. Well, the guys that are base stealers spend as much time looking at a pitcher's pickoff move to first base and comparing that to his delivery to home plate to try to find something, some kind of a key to allow you to get a jump over there at first base.
AJ's running full here, 3-2. But if you're going to play that style of baseball, we saw that a lot early this year. It's part of the deal. Down the line to third. Ransom is there. The backhander on the long throw, and Rizzo tackles that one nicely at first for the out. Anthony Rizzo went down and got it. Tough play for Cody Ransom. Wanted to make that long throw off the backhander near the line there.
Now, Ransom doesn't have a real strong throwing arm, but watch how quickly he gets rid of it. Get it across the diamond, let Anthony Rizzo deal with it over there at first base. Looked like he was barely able to keep that left foot on the bag.
Oof, Anthony Rizzo, 6'3", 240, and he needed every inch right there. So now base is empty, 2 outs. Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie popped up to first, his first time up. Paul Goldschmidt has hit in 13 of his last 15 games, batting .370 over that span. He's in there at .311 on the year.
Talking about stolen bases, Goldie stole his 10th of the season in last night's ball game, making him one of only 2 players in the major leagues this year with 20 or more homers, 10 or more stolen bases. The other being Carlos Gonzalez of the Rockies, 26 and 18.
That one's through the hole and into right for a base hit. Second hit for the Diamondbacks tonight against Travis Wood. So Goldie 2 for 4 last night, couple of singles, and he's 1 for 2 so far tonight. Frogman in the pool. I think they're doing some Navy SEAL training out there. It's a rigorous program, apparently. How about the speed suits? Here's Cody. That one's just under Greg Schulte in a radio booth.
Expect a tweet soon. Foul ball below Booth.
We were doing Diamond Talk last night on the radio, and I couldn't get him to participate. He was busy tweeting pictures of us doing the show. Time for the intervention. Here's the 0-1. Seriously, they're on a program out there.
Oh.
How about that thing where they have to carry the boat around over their heads and just circle the pool? High five.
I'm not a competitive swimmer myself, but it doesn't seem real challenging.
But they appear to be dedicated to a very hardcore training program.
Hey, bottom line is they're having a good time.
Well, the race is on here. And the winner is... Oh, they're going the back and forth. We'll have to pour... can we have maintenance get down there and add water to the pool now? I think we've lost a few gallons. 2-1. Bounce to third. That's a foul ball. Doug Eddings down there at third base. You never know what you're going to see at Chase Field. I think they're a little gassed right now. Oh, he's pouring beer down the snorkel. Dude, that is wrong. Look at this. We said it was a rigorous training program. And now there's a beverage in the pool.
Now you did it.
Now there's always one guy that's got to ruin it for everybody.
Braves fan, it figures.
Nice going, dude. 2-2. There's the strikeout. That ends the inning. Diamondbacks get a pair of singles against Travis Wood, but nothing across. We're through 4. They trail it 1-0.
One of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Tell you what, Dennis Lamb brought some those almonds, some roasted almonds from downstairs. Oh, really good. Here's Patrick Corbin up to 68 pitches now. How about a 6-pitch fourth inning? Patrick's 20th start, 11-1, a 2.35 ERA, fourth best ERA in all of Major League Baseball. There's Travis Wood, who can hit, as we saw earlier. He singled to lead off the third and scored the only run of the game so far. This guy's got 2 home runs on the year, including a grand slam.
Well, I'll have to try those almonds if I can get my hand in the bag without getting anything broken. Yeah, guys are fighting over those things.
They're good.
Mike and Sharon downstairs. I like the cactus corn.
Yeah,
I find my lane and I stay in it.
Cody Ross. Well, I've noticed you'll take some of that home to Joan.
Oh, that's good stuff, man.
There it is, cactus corn.
See, now I'm busted. She's going to say, you've never brought any cactus corn home.
It's in the trunk.
Oh, that's good stuff.
But I just had some of those. They're roasted almonds with some cinnamon on them and some sugar. Man, it's good. Get them out here at Chase Field. All kinds of food choices. Junior Lake. He has reached on an error and struck out. Patrick Corbin has won his last 2 starts, and he has struck out 10 in both of them. And Junior Lake continues to be a thorn on the Diamondback side. He's aboard. A 1-out single. That one literally hopped into left field for a base hit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Eric Chavez playing in to protect against a bunt, because we know Junior Lake has that in his back pocket, and pounded that ball off the dirt right in front of home plate. It just bounced over the head of Chavez on into left field.
Now, let me ask you this. The Cubs are obviously going nowhere. They're trading guys. They're figuring out who's part of the core, who's not, and all that stuff. Wouldn't you just, the way this kid has played, I get it, it's 4.5 games at this point, but wouldn't you just let the kid up there and just see what he does? Unless he completely nosedives. Just let him go?
Yeah, I mean, given the circumstance, and the Cubs are in the middle of a rebuilding program that is very open-ended at this point. Not to mention the fact David DeJesus, I feel, would have a lot of value to a good team. I mean, he's a solid outfielder. He's a good leadoff hitter, or you can hit him lower in the order. Takes his walks, grinds out at bats. Good guy in the clubhouse, but you have to get David DeJesus back on the field and playing in order for him to have value for somebody else. So I think we may see Junior Lake maybe move to the corners from time to time. He might even work his way into the infield from time to time, either playing some third, maybe playing some short if they give Castro a day off. But the way he's swinging the bat, they cannot afford to take him out of the lineup.
Reason for Cubs fans to get excited, that's for sure. 1-0 to Starlin Castro. He has struck out and walked 0 for 1. Where were you with Castro? Because I kind of go up and down on him, because he can be a tremendously frustrating player to watch. Granted, he's very young.
For me, he's a defensive liability at shortstop. We've seen it in this series. He backs up on almost every ground ball hit to shortstop.
Backs up
a step or two, and then a lot of times will play routine hops into tough hops, and then he has to hurry his throw across the infield, and that's when he spikes a lot of them in the dirt over there. Now, this was earlier in the ball game. Prado hits a ground ball to short. He comes in a couple steps and then backs up a couple of steps, making it a much tougher play. I mean, that should have been a routine out by 3 steps at first base, and Prado made it fairly close down there. He's tremendously frustrating defensively, but then he'll dive up the middle and make an unbelievable play, throw from his knees, and get a guy out at first base, and you go, wow, this guy has some skills out there. He just doesn't bring it every day.
And you can remember he was an all-star in 2011, an all-star in 2012. 2011, the youngest player ever to lead the National League in hits. He was 21 years old. And he's already here in his 4th big league season at just 23. Turned 23 in March. But he can have you scratching your head sometimes. But the Cubs decided he's our guy. 7 years, $60 million. And GM Jed Hoyer says, you know, there's going to be some growing pains still, but he is still a player they believe in completely, Jed Hoyer says. But things got rough for Castro this year. The average dipped into the 220s in late June. Cubs sat him down for a game, and that snapped a streak of 269 straight starts. That one is driven around. Cody Ross backing up at the track. Junior Lake back to first, 2 down.
Not to mention the mental lapses that Castro will have both on defense and on offense, running the bases. Does some things sometimes that just make you wonder what he's thinking about out there on the field, and then the next day he'll come out and just dazzle you.
Yeah.
Just the inconsistency, which goes along with youth, and I'm sure the Cubs are hoping that he'll settle in and be that guy that's dazzling every day.
So Lake aboard at first with 2 outs now. Here's Anthony Rizzo. He struck out in the first, had an RBI single in the third. He drove in the only run of the game so far with a well-hit ball up the middle against Corbin. Patrick Corbin, a winner in each of his last 2 starts with 10 strikeouts both times. He has 6 strikeouts so far tonight. He's at 77 pitches, 51 for strikes. The ERA has come up a little bit lately. All those no decisions in there, of course. 1 run on 7 hits and 6 2/3 against the Brewers. That was July 12th. Prior to that, 8 innings of 3-hit ball against the Rockies, each game with 10 strikeouts. And you see the difference there in the last 8 starts in terms of the run support. Less than half. And we've often talked about that. We know about the pitcher win stat and how that drives some people crazy. But 11-1 could easily be 13-14-1.
And you think about all the innings that Patrick has thrown, especially lately, with very little margin for error.
They're out there without a net. Walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. It's a stat we call WHIP, and it's really a really good indicator of how effective a pitcher has been. A little bit better than ERA because it essentially measures how many base runners a pitcher allows, either by walks or hits. And in terms of WHIP, Patrick Corbin is 4th best in the National League. Kershaw, Harvey, Bumgarner, the only guys ahead on the WHIP list. There it is. His WHIP is an even 1. Which is, by the way, outstanding. League average is usually about 1.3. 1.25, 1.3, somewhere in there. It varies year to year. There's a walk to Rizzo. And that's the second walk issued by Corbin. So the Cubs here in the 5th have 2 on and 2 outs. And up steps Alfonso Soriano. The 5th inning Zumba class in the bullpen. Guys loosening up, limbering up. Become a staple. And now Corbin will work to Soriano, who hit a dribbler up the line for an out his first time up, right up the first base line, then struck out looking his last time up back in the 3rd. Sedona red. Dodgers have already won. They won a squeaker in Toronto over the Blue Jays, 10-9. To do at the park. Read the latest copy of D-Backs Insider magazine. You can read all about Didi Gregorius' artwork. He's a big artist, Didi. Does some really fine paintings. Here's Soriano. (10-9) was that Dodgers final. They beat the Blue Jays. Dodgers were out hit 15-13, but won the game 10-9. Gonzalez and Ethier both hit 8th inning home runs. A 4-run LA 8th. They took the lead. That's now a final. Here's the 0-1. Position for Patrick to be in here. Good hitter up there. He's ahead 0-2, trying to strand Lake at second and Rizzo at first.
2 different ways to go. Breaking ball in the dirt, high fastball. There you go, high heater.
Ways off, 1-2. Now you said that's a pitch Soriano will often chase, right?
He'll chase the high heater. I mean, he's a dead fastball hitter, much more effective on fastballs knee high or lower, but he'll chase that high fastball, and then usually you come right back with a breaking ball in the dirt, try to get him to chase that one. Those are 2 very vulnerable spots for him.
Saw the high fastball and saw the slider in the dirt.
I mentioned it last night. Real good low fastball hitter, as Curt Schilling will attest to, through a splitter that was headed for the dirt in Game 7 back in 2001, and Soriano golfed it out of here to left field. And handles off-speed pitches in the strike zone pretty well. Breaking balls that stay in the middle of the zone, he hits hard.
And he struck out twice against Tyler Skaggs last night. Fouls that one behind the Chicago dugout. We'll do it again.
For a long time, Alfonso Soriano has used one of the heaviest bats in all of baseball, 36 ounces. But when Dale Swain came here and took over the Cubs, He eventually got him to relent and go to a lighter bat. I think that one's about 34 ounces, which is still really heavy compared to a lot of the major league hitters nowadays. Most batters use a bat that's around 34 and a half inches long and around 31 or 32 ounces.
Bounce that one. Lake takes off for third. He'll get there. Rizzo to second. It gets behind the Evis. And now the Cubs have two runners in scoring position with 2 outs and a 3-2 count on Soriano. That's a wild pitch.
Looked like a breaking ball that Will Nieves wasn't quite sure whether to turn his glove fingers down and try to block it or just catch it cleanly before it hit the dirt. Got caught in between and didn't do either.
Now what do you do here? Do you put him on with first base open and work to Ransom because you have no room for error here on a full count?
I think because Soriano is such an aggressive hitter, you go after him, but you don't care if you walk him. Make a good pitch. Don't throw him a strike that he can really get that big bat going. Bounce another breaking ball, elevate another fastball.
They tried bouncing one, can't locate it though, and the bases are full now with 2 away. That's the third walk issued by Patrick Corbin. Back-to-back walks here in the 5th. And the work to Cody Ransom with the bases loaded. Charles Nagy to the mound. Ransom so far is 0 for 2. He has been called out looking twice.
I think this is just a breather meeting for Charles Nagy. Patrick Corbin's had to work hard in this inning.
He's at 88 pitches, 54 for strikes.
That traffic on base the entire inning after the fly out to right by Travis Wood. A single by Lake. Fly out to right and then back-to-back walks to load him up. He's had to work hard in this inning, and Charlie Nagy just wants to give him a little bit of a breather out there. Revisit the scouting report on Cody Ransom, which has been really good up to this point. He struck out twice looking.
Eric Chavez is like the old lonely end at Army.
Yeah, I've heard that meeting before. I'll just stay here.
He's been around once or twice. Tell you what, that 6-pitch fourth kind of saved him here. He might be out of the game to this point if not for that. So it's Lake at third, Rizzo at second, and Soriano at first. 2 outs, bases loaded, 1-0 here in the 5th. And it's Cody Ransom who was 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Soriano, a good hitter against left-hand pitching this year, .253 with 7 home runs. Right to Didi Gregorius. That might have been a couple of runs. Instead, it's allowed outs, and we'll go to the home half of the 5th. It's 1-0 Cubs. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up for the Diamondbacks, Chavez, Prado, and Nieves in the 5th.
not including tonight. They rank dead last in a lot of key categories in the National League. The offense really struggling. And you can tell that Kirk Gibson is really starting to grow weary of answering questions about that. Earlier today, he was asked, what does it take to turn things around? He took us back to 2011. We were on a long road trip. The D-backs had lost 6 straight games. We were in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., and the earthquake happened. We were rushed to the ballpark with an escort to get to the ballpark. They didn't take BP that day. It was the game that Sean Burroughs, who hadn't hit a home run in 6 years, had the game-winning home run. Next thing you know, the D-backs rattled off 9 straight wins. He said baseball's a funny game and things can turn quickly, but you can tell that Gibby is getting tired of talking about his team's lack of offense.
And in fairness, people are kind of tired of asking about it too, but that's sort of the gig here until it changes. And they certainly have the personnel to make that happen. Eric Chavez leads off the 5th.
Yeah, we showed you those stats there. In 10 of the 25 games, they scored 0 runs in the first 5 innings. That's something that has to change somehow. Maybe alter your pregame routine, start a little earlier. Oh, watch out. I mean, especially against the better pitchers in the National League. We talk about it all the time. If you're going to get them, you have to get them early. This one right at his dome. Chavez able to get out of the way as that ball sails all the way to the backstop.
And it changes the narrative in terms of your starting pitching too, Bob, as we talked about last night. If they had scored runs early, we'd be talking about what a great night it was for Tyler Skaggs, other than the 2 mistakes he made on the home run balls. I mean, Tyler pitched really well last night. No walks, 6 strikeouts, just made 2 location mistakes with fastballs that got hit for home runs. But if that had been, 4-2 or whatever in the 5th inning, you'd be, wow, Tyler looked great last night. There's the strikeout. That's the 2nd strikeout for Wood. 1 away in the 5th.
This has all happened during a stretch where the pitching has actually been pretty good. You go back to July 8th, the Diamondbacks have had 6 quality starts. That's 6 or more innings, 3 or fewer runs, and their record in those games is only 3-3.
Yeah, we've talked about last 11 games, 4-7 over that span. The pitching staff has put up a 3.5 ERA in those 11 games, so the pitching has not been the issue. Look inside the Friday's Front Row Sports Grill, high above left field here at Chase Field. Martin Prado grounded out his first time.
There's so many great places to watch a ball game in this park. We've shown you the RamTrucks.com pool many times. That's as good as it gets at Friday's Front Row Sports Grill. Great food, great views.
I've said this about this ballpark too, and one of the great things about it for me is there's the Friday's Front Row Sports Grill. But if you're in the infield bowl section, and by that I mean, that first level between somewhere first and third base, it's a very intimate ballpark. That portion of the seats right there on that first level, you're really close to the action. Great sight lines, open room, big aisles, plenty of concourse room to maneuver, but you're right on top of the action. Goodbye, get out of here, see ya. Martin Prado, his 9th. It's a 1-1 ball game. That's a Fulton home run. Another $150 to Central Arizona Mountain Rescue. Martin Prado, his 9th home run this season, and his 3rd home run here in July.
We were talking about Friday's Front Row Sports Grill. Martin tried to hit one up there.
Almost made it.
Got a cut fastball that stayed out over the plate for him just enough. Able to backspin that ball way back into the bleachers in left field.
That was hammered. It's a funny game. He got almost nothing against this guy for 4 innings. He strikes out the leadoff man in the 5th. All of a sudden, Prado comes up and hits one to Venus. And suddenly it's a 1-1 ball game, and the whole energy level has changed. Against a guy that has really pitched well, not just tonight, but lately in Travis Wood, an all-star. He's allowed 3 earned runs or fewer in his last 9 starts. High chopper to Rizzo at first. He'll flip to Wood covering. That's the 2nd out. Martin Prado. Here's Didi, grounded out to second his first time. And Martin Prado has really come around lately. Just taking better swings, looking more aggressive up there at the plate. Came into tonight hitting .303 in July with 2 homers and 11 RBIs. Now make it 3 homers and 12 driven in just in this month alone. And if he can keep this going for Martin, it'll be his second calendar month this year in which he's hit over 300. He hit .313 in May. And a good view of that one from up there. We're number 1. Didi was a sensation last night, on base 4 times with a walk, 2 singles and a double. He scored a run. Last night, Didi's first 3-hit game since June 21st. And Kurt Gibson has said earlier this month that while Didi filled a huge void with the loss of Willie Bloomquist and Aaron Hill, he's had to make some adjustments here. Because, other teams have, Bob, kind of got a word on Didi, and other guys started to figure out some things in terms of how to pitch to him. And now Gibby says it's up to Didi to make the adjustments to the adjustments.
Adjustments, counter adjustments, make adjustments to the counter adjustments. That's what baseball's all about. Back and forth, back and forth.
Roller that stays fair. Ransom from behind the bag. Long throw, and Gregorius beats it out. High stepping in the high socks. That's a 2-out infield single. 4th hit for the Diamondbacks.
Mention Ransom doesn't have a real strong throwing arm. He tries to compensate by getting rid of the ball quickly, but Didi was smelling that infield hit.
Yes, there he is.
Little help umpiring up here. They need all the help they can get.
And they'll let Patrick Corbin hit here.
Well, at worst, you get his spot out of the way here in the 5th inning and roll around to the top of the order. At best, Patrick leans on one right here and finds a gap and scores Didi from first base.
He's a good-looking athlete up there at the plate, too. He can hit with the best of them in batting practice. Foul tip is held on to by Navarro, who appears to be hurt.
I think that ball might have caught him in a bad spot in the mitt right there. When that foul tip goes right back into the glove, it's never centered where you expect to catch it. There's an area in that glove right at the base of the webbing where you can catch a ball, and I don't care if it's 200 miles an hour, you don't feel it at all, but just a little bit of a misdirection there, and the ball hit him either in the palm or out near the fingertips, and that hurts.
Dana DeMuth is giving Navarro a chance to collect himself. You can see he's already got that thumb taped up somewhat. Now we're ready to go with an 0-1 count to Corbin. Diamondbacks have tied it here 1-1. A solo shot from Martin Prado, his 9th of the year. Up the middle, but right at the shortstop Castro. And ends the 5th, but the Diamondbacks are on the board. Martin Prado, his 9th home run this season, a solo shot, has tied it up at 1.
CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Jack in the Box, go big at a Jack in the Box near you with Jack's new Big Stack Burger.
A starry night over Lake Powell. Cubs and Diamondbacks 1-1, 4 hits apiece as we get set for the 6th inning here. So Patrick Corbin now even with Travis Wood, 1-1. Navarro, Gillespie, and Barney 6, 7, and 8 here in the Chicago 6th against the Diamondbacks left-hander who starts the inning at 89 pitches.
I'm going to tell you, offensively, it's not something you want to be up against very often, but on 0-2 counts this year, the Diamondbacks have 54 base hits, 3 homers, 13 doubles. Only the Milwaukee Brewers have more hits on 0-2 counts.
What do you make of that?
I don't know.
It's a weird oddity.
Just an oddity. I mean, you know, good defensive hitters ready to protect the corners of the strike zone on that 0-2 count. And when they get a mistake because they're waiting so long, letting the ball travel, put a good swing on it, they've had some good results. But like I said, that's not a situation you want to be in very often.
Deanna Navarro leads it off for the Cubs. He has singled and grounded out, 1 for 2. 90 pitches for Patrick Corbin, 56 for strikes. That one is drilled to right, Cody Ross. Quick out number 1 here in the 6th. Well, certainly no ill effects from all that all-star stuff, Bob. That's one thing that worries you, especially with a young guy like this. How is having his routine and all preparations and all that, how is having that upset going to impact Patrick, if at all? And it doesn't appear to have. He's got 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. He's given up 4 hits. All 4 hits singles.
Yeah, 3 walks, but one of them I feel was a pitch around to Soriano once he got into that full count situation. He didn't want to make a mistake and possibly swing this game in the wrong direction. The strikeouts early in the ball game, 6 through the first 3 innings, ran up that pitch count in a hurry. But he settled in nicely since and hasn't struck out a batter since the last out of the 3rd inning, but has been much more efficient with his pitches.
His 20th start this year. Cole Gillespie has twice flied out. Off the glove of Will Nieves.
I think the thing I was most concerned about because of the huge amount of time between starts for Patrick Corbin was his command. Would he be able to consistently throw strikes? That's what he's been so good at all year.
Driven to center field, A.J. Pollock.
And that has not been an issue at all tonight.
That was well hit by Gillespie, but it's allowed out number 2. We get another quick inning here. Might be able to get one more inning out of him.
Especially since they cleared his spot in the batting order in the bottom of the 5th inning, getting him up there with 2 outs before he grounded out to Castro at shortstop. Now you're rolling around at the top of the order. If Patrick gets through this one quickly, it'd be very easy to send him back out there for one more.
Bullpen is quiet right now. Here is Darwin Barney, who's 0 for 2. First pitch, that'll work. Didi Gregorius. And a nice quick inning there for Patrick Corbin. We'll go to the home half of the 6th. It's a 1-1 ball game at Chase Field.
I think we're just trying to switch things up and get us going in the right direction. You know how we're all mental head cases around here, and we always do something to try to stir the pot a little bit. So I figured I shave a stash and then see where it takes us.
The genesis of the Adam Eaton stash, also trying to change things up offensively, letting some youngsters kind of maybe give him some good luck there before he heads to the dish. And I like the stash. We've compared it to Tom Selleck, Magnum PI.
How magnanimous of us. Oh,
Sonny
no.
Bono,
No.
the late great mayor of Palm Springs, I believe. I don't know if that's a little too bushy.
See, that's good right there.
Yeah, Super Mario. I do like Bruno Kirby, though.
Godfather 2. Hurrah.
The 70-year-old Geraldo, who apparently tweeted a picture of himself partially naked recently.
Do we have
all great mustaches, but you have voted, and we like the new look better of Adam Eaton with the mustache and not the cleanly shaven Adam Kennedy.
We'll see where it takes us, like Adam says. I still think he looks like Bruno Kirby from Godfather 2, but we're open to other suggestions. Super Mario is solid. Magnum PI is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
I'll bet Adam would like that, though. You can borrow Mickey's Ferrari and drive around in a Hawaiian shirt looking like Magnum PI. 0-1. Eaton, Pollock, Goldie, 1, 2, and 3 here in the 6th against Travis Wood. 1-1 ball game. Cubs got their run in the 3rd. Wood led off the inning with a single, came in on an Anthony Rizzo RBI single. Diamondbacks answered in the 5th. Martin Prado a solo shot, his 9th of the year. Now this is interesting, Bob. Before the game today, they got here really early, and the Diamondbacks were out there taking early hitting. This is long before batting practice, about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Cliff Pennington, Adam Eaton, A.J. Pollock, and Didi Gregorius were all out there with Steve Sachs and Matt Williams, and they were all working on bunting, which we have said, you and I are kind of on the platform of. I'd like to see that become a little bit bigger part of the games for some of these guys, especially Pollock and Didi and Eaton.
And especially against some of the teams that they're going to face in the second half of the season that don't have strong defenders at the corner infield positions, or the opposing pitcher falls off the mound to one side or the other, giving you an opening to possibly bunt for a base hit. I think it's just something they should think about and look for and practice. We're not advocating that everybody go up there and try to bunt every at bat, but there are situations where that's what's called for. And when you can run like Adam Eaton and A.J. Pollock and Didi Gregorius, I think it's an important part of their arsenal.
Here's A.J. on deck, 2-2 to Adam Eaton. Well, Brett Butler managed Adam Eaton in Reno last year, and he recalled a game against Sacramento in which Eaton bunted for base hits every time up, so that by the time he came up for his 4th at bat of the ball game, the other pitcher drilled him just out of spite because he'd annoyed them so much. And Butler said that's Adam Eaton in a nutshell. And you know, the guy, you kind of want him up there to be a nudge, a pain in the neck. You want the other team to go, oh, here's this guy again. Kind of just chips away at the psyche of the other guys. Missed with it there. It's full 3-2. Diamondbacks bullpen getting some activity now. Heath Bell warming up, sort of, not in any particular hurry, with Glenn Sherlock standing watch out there. 3-2 to Adam Eaton. Up the middle, base hit. Adam Eaton 2 for 3 tonight. He starts it off here in the 6th. And I think we just played a little Mario Brothers video game music on the PA system.
How appropriate.
Now we showed you the little kids who Adam had touched the bat for luck. It worked out.
You have to take them on the road.
Might have to become a thing.
Pack them in the bat bag.
Here's A.J. Pollock, who's 0 for 2. He is flied out and grounded out. Now we saw Adam get picked off. It looked like he was running on first move against Wood his last time on base. He took off as soon as Wood moved, but he was going to first and just guessed wrong and was a dead duck at second. And we'll see how the Diamondbacks play this with the leadoff man on first.
Cubs expecting a bunt. Cody Ransom way in at third base already. And some of these pickoff throws to first base in this situation are not necessarily designed to pick the guy off first. You want to see if the batter at the plate will tip his hand. And that time A.J. Pollock didn't do anything to indicate a bunt. So a little seed of doubt in the Cubs defensively. Ransom has backed up a couple of steps.
Eaton holds it first. A.J. pops that one up right over Bob Brenly's head here behind the booth. Well, we've talked about how this team, Bob, is struggling to find itself offensively. You're scratching and clawing, trying to win with 4, 5, 6 hits a night. With doing a little bit more bunting help sort of kickstart that.
Yeah, it certainly could. I mean, just having traffic on the bases would be a nice change. It changes the defense. You've got Rizzo holding on the runner over there now. Darwin Barney's cheating closer to the bag at second, opening a huge hole on the right side of the infield. You just want to get guys on base, put some pressure on the defense. So many of the innings lately for the D-backs have been 1, 2, 3, and they're back on defense before they even realized they were in the dugout.
That happened the first 3 innings in this ball game.
Yeah, just have some extended innings. Send 6, 7, 8 batters to the plate. Work some counts. Get some walks. Traffic on the bases.
Travis Wood retired the first 9 he faced before Eaton single that led off the 4th. There goes Adam Eaton. That one is rolled. Fair ball. It gets by Ransom at third, and there goes Adam Eaton. He's coming all the way in. Here's the relay, and he is safe. RBI double for A.J. Pollock, his 24th double this season, and it's a 2-1 Diamondbacks lead.
This double partially set up by the defense of the Cubs, worried about that bunt. You see Ransom playing in front of the baseline, can't get to that hopper down the third baseline. I'll tell you, Starlin Castro went way out into left field for that relay throw. He had a longer throw than Alfonso Soriano did, and that gave Eaton enough room to get in there on his belly to give the D-backs a lead.
Traffic on the bases. Pollock at second, still nobody out. And here's Paul Goldschmidt, who singled his last time up. 2-1 Diamondbacks. They have now out-hit the Cubs 6-4. Goldie 2 for 4 last night, 1 for 2 tonight. He's hit safely in 14 of his last 16. And again, we've got past the 5th inning, and that's suddenly when the Diamondbacks offense usually wakes up. And Adam Eaton was flying around the bag at third. He can really run. Goldzilla, the pop-up book. Not sure what's going on with that hat there.
Not quite sure.
It's like something on a Jeremiah Johnson.
Big league pitchers make mistakes, but I'd really be shocked to see Goldie get anything to hit in this at bat with first base open. Way off the plate away that time.
He threw that one in the left-hand batter's box. So a chance perhaps for Cody Ross coming up. Cody 0 for 2 so far. Go Goldie. 5th in the National League in hits, 4th in walks, 3rd in slugging and OPS. Looks at a strike there, 3-1. Goldie began the day tied with the Reds' Brandon Phillips for the National League RBI lead with 79. They are both 2 ahead of the Cardinals' Alan Craig. Good RBI chance here, 3-1. He held up, and there's the walk. Paul Goldschmidt on base for the 2nd time tonight. 2 on and nobody out for the Diamondbacks. Bullpen stirring for Cubby Blue. First walk issued by Travis Wood tonight. And Chris Bosio will pay a visit.
We touched on this earlier, partner. that unusual doubleheader taking place in San Francisco. If you looked at the board and didn't know any better, you'd say, well, they played one game in San Francisco early and then flew to Cincinnati to play the second game. But both games being played at AT&T Park in San Francisco. The Reds were rained out earlier this season, and they're the home team in Game 2 of that doubleheader, even though it's in San Francisco.
And here's a former Red, Travis Wood, who's in a mess. Travis Wood was a second-round pick by the Reds in 05, dealt to the Cubs following the 2011 season in the deal that sent reliever Sean Marshall to Cincinnati. He'll face Cody Ross now. Wreck-It Ross instead of Wreck-It Ralph. A.J. Pollock on second, Paul Goldschmidt on first. A run in here, 2-1 Diamondbacks. Big chance here to break it open. The Diamondbacks have had these chances, and this goes back to what we were talking about offensively. Even when they do get the hits and scratch a few across, they leave a lot of ducks on the pond here, as it were. Here's an opportunity to put up a big crooked number in this inning. Here's Cody versus lefties, 385. Foul ball towards the birthday boy, Steve Gilbert, MLB.com. He made I have to say, horrific effort at catching that ball. He's a gamer. There he is, dialed in.
Stevie.
He's on delay. He's going to hear that in about 20 seconds. And he's going to realize that we're making fun of him on his birthday. We're those kind of guys. Here's the 0-2. He might have been listening to Greg Schulte, which explains the very intent look on his face. What? I can't hear.
Could be listening to Pink Floyd for all we know.
Turn it up. Here's the 1-2. Navarro keeps it in front. This is Cody Ross's 19th game batting in the cleanup spot for Kirk Gibson this year. 18th start, and he's done pretty well in this spot in the lineup. 314 with 2 home runs. And this is the situation in which you want Cody Ross. 2 on, nobody out, facing a left-hander.
It's pretty apparent in this at-bat that Travis Wood just doesn't want to come from the middle of the plate in to Cody Ross. Everything has been away. Either cut fastballs that are trying to nip the outside corner, or two-seamers going the other way, trying to lead him out of the strike zone. Just doesn't want to make a mistake on that inside part of the plate.
Innings 1 through 3 for the Diamondbacks. No runs, no hits. Innings 4 through 6, 2 runs and 6 hits. Chop to short, Castro. Barney, can they turn 2? No! Angelo Hernandez at first. Says Cody Ross is out. A.J. Pollock to third.
Darwin Barney needs to send a Christmas card to Paul Goldschmidt. He could have knocked him up into Friday's front row grill right there. Slid right past him.
Should he have been a little more aggressive there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you break up that double play, you've got him at first and third with only 1 out in the inning, and obviously a chance to really blow it wide open.
Let's take another look at Goldie coming in. He's a big boy.
I mean, he goes in hard, but he goes in straight to the base, and you can see Barney took 1 step back to stay out of the way of the sliding runner. As big a guy as Paul Goldschmidt is, he can cover all that ground.
Now, what you're supposed to do is, as long as you can get a hand or, say, an arm's reach on the base, you can be as wide of the bag as you can get, right?
Absolutely. If you can get a finger on that base, the rest of your body can be either on the inside or outside of the baseline attempting to break it up.
0-1 to Eric Chavez. He's 0 for 2, struck out his last time up. Pollock on third with 2 down. Let's take another look.
I mean, he goes hard straight into the base, but you can see Barney with just that little stutter step backwards cleared himself of the runner. Had Goldie, kind of spread out sideways and really used his entire body length, he could have got a piece of Barney and maybe disrupted that double play.
driven to center field. Lake backing up, looking up. He's at the wall, and he won't get it. Pollock scores. Here comes Eric Chavez. That rolls into center field, and Chavez rolls into third. It's 3-1 Diamondbacks. The offense has come alive here in the sixth.
A nice effort by Junior Lake out there in center field. He was playing Chavez to pull a little bit. We've seen this opposite field power from Eric throughout the early part of this season. Knocks this one off the wall in left center, and Junior Lake is the only Cub defender in the vicinity.
And you got that carom where the ball rolls back to the area, which Lake just vacated, and that allows Chavez to round second and head for third with his second triple this year. And now Chavez is on third with 2 outs for Martin Prado. Prado homered his last time up. Drilled one about 15 rows back in left field.
Yeah, no chance at all for Cole Gillespie to get over there and back up the play from right field, but Alfonso Soriano was just spectating out there in left. He never moved from his position as he watched Junior Lake trying to chase that ball down in the gap in left center. Yeah, he's just standing over there saying, "Go get it, kid."
He's pointing to him.
You got plenty of room.
It's over there. Seriously?
And that's why you back it up, just in case he misses it, it hits the wall and ricochets back toward the infield. Somebody's got to be there to pick it up.
I mean, if that's Adam Eaton or A.J. Pollock or Gerardo Parr or anybody, and write that down, Tim Naring. That's an inside the park home run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eric Chavez, given his age and injury history, is in there at third. But anyone else, it probably scores. And Naring watching Soriano for the Yankees here, sort of laughing to himself. And that's part of the deal with Soriano, right? He'll frustrate you from time to time.
I mean, and many times it's just a lack of effort. I mean, you don't have to be a good outfielder to run over and back up a play.
Hustle never takes a day off, they say. In most cases. Check swing. He did not go, says Angel Hernandez, and that's a 2-out walk to Martin Prado. Second walk in the inning from Travis Wood.
What a difference in this inning. Getting some base runners on early. Putting Travis Wood in that stretch position. He's made some mistakes over the middle of the plate that we haven't seen him make throughout this ball game. And the Cubs have been able to push across 2 with a chance to score some more.
Chavez at third, Prado at first. 2 down. Here is Will Nieves, who's 0 for 2. Diamondbacks 1 in the 5th and 2 here in the 6th. They've out hit the Cubs 7-4. What, it's nice to see Diamondbacks flying around the bases.
Well, the happiest guy in the ballpark is Matt Williams. He's been lonely over there as the third base coach. He hasn't had a lot of visits lately.
He's got some neighbors now. It all started off with Adam Eaton's single to open the 6th here. In fact, they are a home run away from the cycle in this inning. 0-2. Eaton singled. Pollock doubled. Chavez is tripled. Throwing a pair of walks. Will Nieves, .478 this year with runners in scoring position. .105 pitches now for Travis Wood, 65 for strikes. And with his spot due to lead off the next inning, this is his chance to empty the tank right here. Nieves waits on it nicely, drives it down the right field line. Gillespie gives it a look, but it's out of play.
Now for Travis Wood, his high this season, 115 pitches, and that came in 5 2/3 innings pitched against the Reds earlier this year. That was a 5-2 Cubs loss.
Yeah, that was May 25th. 34 pitches in the inning. He's been over 100 pitches 9 times. He has allowed 3 earned runs or fewer in 9 straight starts. Diamondbacks trying to snap that streak right here. Nieves lifts it in the air. That'll get out of play. Well, he's spraying the ball all over the place. Will Nieves, originally a 47th round draft pick by the Padres in '95. And he has done a terrific job as the Diamondbacks' backup catcher this year. Chavez at third, Prado at first. Hard hit, and that's a base hit. Here comes Chavez. RBI single for Will Nieves. And it's 4-1 Diamondbacks. It's a 3-run inning here for Arizona. The offense is alive.
Good battling at bat by Will Nieves. Gets a cutter that just doesn't get as far inside as Travis Wood wanted it. He was in swing mode, got the barrel on it, an RBI single into left field. That's going to do it for Travis Wood.
A.J. Pollock an RBI double. Eric Chavez an RBI triple. Now Will Nieves an RBI single. We'll take a break. It's 4-1 D-backs. By Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores is coming to Chase Field for Diamondbacks games August 11th and September 1st, and you can get on board. Just stop by this month's participating Cox retail store in Tucson and Fry's Food Store in Globe, and you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. Gotta get you on board that thing, I think. Maybe have you drive it.
What about drive that bus? Absolutely.
I like that.
I've driven the team bus before.
New pitcher for the Cubs is Matt Guerrier, acquired from the Dodgers on July 2nd for Carlos Marmol. Marmol pitched for L.A. tonight in Toronto, and now here's Guerrier for the Cubs in Arizona. Prado on second, Nieves on first. 2 outs, here's Didi. Gregorius is 1 for 2. He singled his last time up. 4-1 Diamondbacks.
Saw Guerrier for a third of an inning in the ball game last night. Dale Swain brought him in to face the pinch hitter Will Nieves, and Gibby countered with Eric Chavez. He flied out to center field.
Guerrier has stranded 20 of the 25 runners he's inherited this year. He has not allowed an earned run in 30 outings. Veteran pitcher, former Twins great. So far, the high socks and the Johnny U high tops have worked well for Didi. Broke him out last night. He was on base 4 times, 1 for 2 so far tonight. Three and 1. Jason Kubel is out on deck. So should Gregorius reach here, Kubel would hit for Corbin. It's a big swing, isn't it? Big loopy swing.
A little bit too loopy, especially for a guy that throws that heavy sinking fastball. Started that ball in the outer third of the plate, had some movement down and away from Didi. I don't mind a guy taking a big swing if the count's in his favor, but once again, it has to be the pitch you're looking for.
3 and 2, 2 outs. Runners will be off with a pitch. Prado at second, Nieves at first. There they go. Here it is. And Didi chops it to Barney at second. And that's the inning. But the Diamondbacks get 3 in the 6th after an Adam Eaton single. A.J. Pollock an RBI double, and then Eric Chavez an RBI triple. It's a 4-1 Diamondbacks lead through 6. America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports, all the news and highlights you want, and shows and specials that only Fox would bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1, and it's coming August 17th. Diamondbacks a Major League best 17-2 when Patrick Corbin starts. Now it's up to the bullpen here to make it 18-2. On to start the 7th inning is the Heath Bell experience. Heath's last 4 appearances have all come in a setup role. He worked the 7th inning in a 1-0 lead in San Francisco on Sunday. Pitched a 1-2-3 inning there after working the 8th inning on Friday against the Giants. He appeared as an 8th inning guy last Friday and Saturday against the Brewers last weekend. So this was supposed to be his role, Bob, at the beginning of the year, and we've finally gotten around to that here. Julio Bourbon will hit for Wood to lead off the 7th.
31 pinch hit at bats this year for Bourbon. 6 for 31 with an RBI.
Just 12 starts all season. He's appeared in 53 games off the bench, most often as a pinch hitter. Former Texas Rangers #1 pick. He doesn't hit. He's batting 167 since June the 1st, but doesn't play a lot either. 36 games over that span, only 7 starts. Heath Bell has worked a total of 3 innings over his last 4 outings, all scoreless. 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. That since the back-to-back blown saves at Citi Field against the Mets and Chase Field against the Dodgers. There's the power fastball and the strikeout to open the 7th.
I really think the key for Heath Bell in just about any of his outings is showing the ability to throw that curveball for a strike very early on. Now, he doesn't have to throw them all for strikes, but he needs to show opposing hitters that I have this weapon and I can use it. When he was going through his struggles as the closer about a month or so ago, he just could not command that curveball, couldn't get it close enough to the strike zone to have hitters respect it. So everybody sat on that fastball. There's a good first pitch curveball right there.
Show that you can throw it and are willing to throw it for a strike?
Absolutely. And once you've proven that you can throw that pitch for a strike, a hitter has to keep it in the back of his mind. Now you've got 2 weapons to attack the opposition with.
Misses with a fastball away there to Junior Lake. It's 1-1. Lake singled his last time up. Up the middle, right off the waistline of Heath Bell. He's got to hurry to get Junior Lake, and he throws it away. Lake takes the turn and heads for second. And he'll stop there. Turns into a little 60-foot double for Junior Lake.
I'm guessing that's a hit and an E1 on the throw by Heath Bell that got away from Paul Goldschmidt down the right field line.
Yeah, that's the second error now for the Diamondbacks, right off the belt buckle.
He got to it quickly. Unfortunately, he just rushed his throw over there to first base.
Well, I notice that Lake has got good speed. But the little comebacker can see where it hit him right there. Little comebacker turns into a man on second with a 1 out for the Cubs, and Starlin Castro coming up. Castro's 0 for 2. He walked in the 3rd. Tries the breaking ball again on the first pitch, but misses there. 1-0.
That's one of the things that hitting coaches and hitters watch for from the bench. When a new pitcher comes into the game, they'll watch him warm up, take his 8 warm-up tosses. They'll watch how he pitches to the first couple hitters that come to the plate. And if he's not able to throw his breaking ball for a strike, that gets around the dugout quickly.
A.J. Pollock, look at that speed. He tracks it down in the gap in right center. And Lake has to hold up at second. A.J. Pollock can really go get it. And we just saw another example of that. Kirk Gibson loves his defense out there with all that room in center field.
Didn't take the most direct line to this ball, but made a nice adjustment right there as that ball continued to carry toward the RamTrucks.com pool area. AJ with a nice adjustment, got to it quickly, slammed on the brakes and got it back in before Junior Lake could tag up and advance to third.
And now this is where Heath Bell needs to be careful. Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo has struck out, walked, and has an RBI single. He's driven in the Cubs' only run. And the shift is on somewhat here, Bob, for Rizzo.
Yeah, we saw this earlier against Patrick Corbin, and I mentioned at the time that Rizzo might try to shoot the ball into left field against a tough lefty. But against Heath Bell, he's looking for something he can pull in the air to right field. There are junctures in the ball game where you would say, well, you know, righty on lefty here. This guy's got some pop. He's a consistent RBI producer for the Cubs. Pitch him carefully. If you walk him, we don't care. I don't think this is one of those situations.
Yeah, you don't want to bring the tying run to the plate here if you can.
Not at all, especially a guy like Alfonso Soriano, veteran hitter. Guy with plenty of pop in the bat himself.
But what do you do now when you're behind 3-0?
Make a good pitch on that outside corner at the knees. Easier said than done.
Good call.
Now, Patrick Corbin was having some success getting that fastball in on the hands of Anthony Rizzo, but I think with a right-handed pitcher, you're better off just staying away.
3-1 to Rizzo. Soriano on deck. Junior Lake at second. Here's another strike. It's back full 3-2.
Found that spot. Just keep going to it.
Now, do you think about a curveball here?
No. Not for me. I mean, he might throw a curveball and he might strike him out, but I think the right pitch is to just stay right out there where he's been on the last two.
Going there again. Got him. Nieves couldn't quite hang on, though.
I've said it before, that's frustrating for a catcher, but there's really nothing you can do about it. The ball rattles around and pops out of that mitt.
And now here's the question. Now that you've shown that you're going to bring a fastball here, do you stick with that play?
Well, now what you do, if I'm behind the plate, I have Heath Bell shake his head twice. Nope, I don't want that one. Nope, I don't want that one. And then throw that fastball in the outside corner again.
Like that. Now you shake your head twice to make him think that you want to throw a curveball?
Yeah, well, you just want him to think, period. If in the back of his mind he's saying there's no way they're going to throw me another fastball, so that would then indicate that Will Nieves is calling for a curve and he shakes his head twice. Well, now, is it a fastball? Is it a breaking ball? Anything to plant a seed of doubt in a hitter's mind, especially with two strikes. I like that head shake. I think that's a valuable weapon for a pitcher.
There's the strikeout. Heath Bell strands that runner at second. 2 strikeouts in the inning for the Heath Bell experience. We'll go home half of the 7th. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up, it's Adam Eaton, who's 2 for 3. Joe Borowski joins us next. Version and the gold version of Joe Borowski is here with us. No all-star hangover for Patrick Corbin tonight.
No, today was the first day where he actually had some tough innings that he had to really work through, and you saw he did a fantastic job of navigating his way through there. Gave the Diamondbacks a great chance to win this game with his performance tonight.
He hung in there and had the strikeout pitch working there for a while, and as you've arrived, so has the offense.
I don't know if I could take the credit for that, but I know that was one way opposing teams would love to see me out on a field. That usually meant instant offense.
Here's Hector Rondon. He will take over here in the home half of the 7th for the Cubs, and Jason Kubel will hit for the pitcher here. So it's Kubel, Eaton, and Pollock, 9-1-2 in the Arizona 7th. Diamondbacks 1 in the 5th and 3 in the 6th. They've out-hit the Cubs 8-5. They lead it 4-1. Jason Kubel, 237 on the year. He is 3 for 14 as a pinch hitter this season.
Rondon throws extremely hard. Doesn't always know exactly where it's going, but it gets there in a hurry.
getting out of here in a hurry. Jason Kubel drives it, and it is just shy of the pole. Kubel will stop at second base. Jason Kubel gave it a ride. Deepest part of the ballpark out there in right center. And he's in there with a leadoff double. And boy, did he need that. 2 for his last 28 with 11 strikeouts. That'll really help.
That would have made a nice sound off his bat right there. Barreled that one up toward the gap in right center field. Vincent Rondon throws hard. All you have to do is get the barrel on it, get it out there in front of the plate. Just missed a home run out there near the RamTrucks.com pool.
And boy, Joe, I mean, the offense was really rolling there. The line was moving in the 6th, and now Jason Kubel continues that here to open the 7th.
Funny thing how this game works. It seems like the offense is contagious. Guys start putting some good at-bats together, string some hits. Now you're starting to see everybody contribute. It's definitely a good sign.
What do you think of Adam Eaton's mustache?
I'll tell you what, if he goes 2 for 3 every night, I'm sold on it.
You know, we were talking earlier, Steve, about using the bunt as a weapon. For me, this is a situation where Adam Eaton should try to bunt for a base hit.
Why?
At worst, you advance Kubel from second to third base. At best, you end up at first with a bunt base hit. You got runners on the corners, and the Cubs are in all kinds of trouble.
Well, he looks like he's a pretty good drag bunter. And that's something we hardly ever see anymore in the big leagues. I'm there with you. It can be a big part of his game. And Didi, too, and A.J. Pollock. And we're not talking about twice a night. Occasionally, just to put it in the back of somebody's mind.
Well, see, as this at bat started, Cody Ransom was drawn way in at third base to protect against the bunt. Then he backed up a little bit with the second pitch, and now he cheats back in a little bit here, but he had backed off. He was expecting a bunt on the first pitch. And he backed up a step, backed up another step. And those are things, if you are a bunter and you're a speed guy, those are the kind of things you look for. You look down to the third base coach for the signs, and then you check where the corner infielders are.
Ooh, that was a hard shot into the seats. Now, we saw last time Adam Eaton held his bat into the stands for some little kids to touch and give him some luck, and it worked out. He got a single and scored a run. So sure enough, let's stick with it here. It worked the last time.
If it works again, he's going to adopt those kids.
He's going to have to. 2 and 2. He'll have little mustaches soon.
Yeah.
Everyone in the whole, pretty soon we'll have mustache night. Everyone in here will look like Bobby Valentine in the dugout. Lays off that one, it's full. Joe, where do you fall in on the whole bunting philosophy that BB and I are advocating here?
I agree. It has to be a part of your arsenal. It has to be there. You have to have teams aware that you will do it every so often. And like Bob was saying, I thought this at bat was a perfect opportunity for Adam to do it. And you don't have to necessarily get it from your manager. You can do it on your own, have the confidence, because all you're trying to do is you're trying to drag it somewhere between the pitcher and first base. And like Bob said, with your speed, you get that first baseman to commit, you can easily beat that out, and there you're set up for a huge inning. The worst thing that happens?
Look where Rizzo's playing right now. He's almost in right field. There's the walk. First and second, nobody out.
Now the question is, does Pollock do it right here?
Well, does he?
It's screaming for it right now, I believe.
So a double and a walk by Rondon so far, and here is A.J. Pollock. A.J., RBI double. He scored a run his last time up, 1 for 3.
And the possibility always is, if you do sacrifice right here, do they go ahead and walk Goldie? But I don't think you can say the what ifs. I think you have to put your team in the best position to score runs later on in the game like this.
Make the other team make the decision. You know, if they walk Goldie, that loads them up for a guy that's having trouble throwing strikes. I don't know if that's something that the Cubs would like to do. Load him up with an intentional walk to face Cody Ross, and then Rondon may walk Cody unintentionally.
And this may also be why maybe Gibby's not giving Pollock the sign to sacrifice, is because Rondon is so wild. He's trying to maybe make him work deep in the count and maybe get a pitch over the plate that he could drive in and get.
And he's really having trouble locating here. It's 2-0. AJ had an outstanding month of May. He hit .301 in May. But since June the 1st, he's batted just .207. And that's over his last 39 games, 27 of them starts. He was in a 1-for-18 before that RBI double his last time up. Nine hits for the Diamondbacks, 5 for the Cubs. Cubs have left 8 runners on base. They've had their chances tonight. AJ drives that one to center. Junior Lake backing up. Gets underneath. Jason Kubel at second will tag and head for third. Adam Eaton sneaks into second. So that is in effect a sacrifice bunt on the fly to center.
And that's the benefit of having someone as fast as Eaton on first base who can tag up on a ball that's not even hit to the warning track in center field.
That's a fly out and not a sacrifice, but it has the same effect. And now here we are with second and third, one out, first base open. And what did they do with Paul Goldschmidt? Goldie popped up in the first, singled in the fourth, and walked in the sixth. And they are not going to mess around. So they'll work to Cody Ross with the bases loaded. And they'll put Goldie on here with 1 out.
Well, apparently the Cubs have more confidence in Rondon's ability to throw strikes than I do. A smart play by Adam Eaton to tag up on that play and advance towards second base. If the throw's on line and it appears it's going to beat you, you can always slam on the brakes and go back to first. I think they took advantage of the inexperience in center field by Junior Lake. Kind of caught that ball flat-footed out there in center field. Couldn't get much on the throw.
So there's 4 to Goldie, and the bases are loaded with 1 out for Cody. Jason Kubel, the runner at third. Adam Eaton with great speed at second. And Goldie aboard at first. And Wreck-It Ross coming up. Cody is 0 for 3. Struck out in the fourth and hit into a double play his last time up. A career .313 hitter with the bases full. One and 0. Cody has hit in 3 straight games. He was on base twice last night with a walk and a double. He's not throwing strikes here.
And the onus is on the pitcher right here. He has to throw a strike, so Cody has to be patient enough that he's looking for one ball in one spot. And Rondon has proven he's having trouble throwing strikes.
There it was. Fastball down and in. That's a good hack and a good pitch right there. Just came up empty.
This is right in Cody's wheelhouse right here.
You talk about one pitch in one zone. That's probably where Cody would ask for it. Give me a fastball, middle of the plate, in, down a little bit.
That is a pitch that he can drive. Here's the 2-1. Upstairs, it's 3-1. Eric Chavez is on deck.
In this situation, 3-1 with Rondon pitching, I'm still looking for one ball in one spot because he has proven he cannot be consistent with his strikes.
Yeah, if you can get the walk here in the run, you've got to take it, right?
Oh, yeah. One pitch, one zone.
Here it is. Lifts it high in the air to shallow left center. Castro backing up. Soriano in now. He wants it. And everyone holds up. Base runner stay put. That's the second out.
Just got out in front a little bit there. Sounded like he caught that one off the end of the bat. Popped it high in the air out there into shallow left field. A little bit of confusion between the Cubs defensively.
Boy, he got two very hittable pitches there.
Yeah, broke his bat on the swing and then finished it off on his knee.
So a chance now for Eric Chavez, who's 1 for 3, and RBI triple his last time up. Eric just back from the injury after missing 26 games with the oblique injury suffered in Texas. He's hit .206 since his return from that oblique. That was going into tonight. This is just his 7th start since June 29th, which is when he came back from the DL.
I don't think it's too much to ask for another triple in this at-bat.
No, I mean, it's reasonable.
Yeah.
It's Eric Chavez. He's been here before. David Hernandez warming up for the Diamondbacks. Jason Kubel on third. Adam Eaton the runner at second. Paul Goldschmidt at first.
You guys smell that?
Smells like victory.
Smells like tacos to me. Base hit here, we got tacos.
Same thing. There's Jason Kubel at third, Super Mario at second, and Paul Goldschmidt at first. There's a base hit that gets down in the gap. Kubel scores. Here comes Adam Eaton. And Goldie's at third. 2-run single by Eric Chavez. And there's your tacos, D-backs fans. It's 6-1.
Sometimes you gotta live Moss. How huge would it be to have Eric Chavez come back swinging the bat the way he was before the oblique injury?
Feels like May, doesn't it?
I mean, he was one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball before the injury.
Diamondbacks 1 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, and now 2 in the 7th. It's first and third, 2 down for Martin Prado. He has walked and homered tonight.
And you love to see him drive 2 balls in the left center gap with authority. And that's always a sign for a hitter. When you're driving the ball into the opposite field gap, that just means you're letting the ball travel deep and you're getting a good look at it. And Chavi in his last 2 at-bats has really done a good job with that.
Up the middle, Castro knocks it down. The run will score. Goldschmidt scores. Chavez heads for third. Another RBI for Martin Prado. Another Diamondback run. It's 7-1, and the offense is alive and well here in Arizona.
It's almost like everybody's just taking a deep breath and starting to have fun again, pounding that ball all over the field.
Pitching change for the Cubs. 3 runs in the inning for the second inning in a row for the D-backs. They lead at 7-1. We take a break. kinds of offense suddenly. We talked about that at the top of the show. The offense has got to pick it up, but boy, they have done so here and then some.
And a lot of it has started with some very patient at-bats, getting themselves into good hitters' counts, seeing a lot of pitches, giving Rondon an opportunity to make some mistakes, and when he did, they hammered him.
And the Diamondbacks with runners in scoring position are our APS Energy All-Stars tonight. 4 for 8. Look at the previous 7 games. 6 for 42. And it's contagious. And hopefully it gets into, just becomes an epidemic here. Former Red Sox great Michael Bowden is on for the Cubs. He'll clean up the mess here left by Rondon. Chavez at third, Prado at first. 3 runs in, 2 away. And Will Nieves is up. Will had an RBI single as last time. He's 1 for 3. Joe, you think Will Nieves should play a little bit more? Or would you? Clearly, Miggy's the guy, and that's a non-issue.
I think it's going to come down to how Miggy's handling everything physically. Catcher's a grinding position. You really get beat up constantly. And with the way that Will's played this year, he definitely deserves to play a little bit more, and Gibby could feel good about giving Miggy some more rest here and there. Because Miggy, coming into this game, I believe, led all of catchers with innings caught.
He's number. It's not just that he's the catcher. He's number 1 in terms of workload. Yeah. Just maybe the occasional start against a tough lefty.
And then what that gives you too, ideally, is a valuable left-handed bat off the bench later in the ball game. You know, we see it every night. Once teams get into that bullpen, you try to play the matchups, and at some point, you could get a favorable matchup and get Miggy up there against a right-hander where he could possibly do some damage. Just because you're not starting doesn't mean you're not contributing.
Oh yeah.
That's a hard thing to convince everyday players. That just because you're not starting the game doesn't mean you have the whole night off. Stay ready.
Right back to Bowden. That'll do it. He'll strand 2, but they get 3 more across. Joe, thanks. We'll see you in the postgame show.
Look forward to it.
8th inning coming up. It's 7-1 Diamondbacks. Great night to be with us at Chase Field. Diamondbacks all over the Cubs, and the new pitcher for Arizona to open the 8th inning is David Hernandez. Some defensive changes by Kirk Gibson here. Martin Prado has moved over to third, so Eric Chavez has the rest of the night off, and Cliff Pennington has taken over at second base. So Hernandez on the mound, Pennington at second, and Prado moves to third. Alfonso Soriano leads it off in the Cubby 8th against David Hernandez. 7-1 Diamondbacks. They've out-hit Chicago 11-5. Soriano 0 for 2, walked his last time up. And we'll see a Taco Bell tomorrow between 4 and 6 with the purchase of a large drink.
That's right.
David Hernandez's last appearance Sunday at San Francisco. He worked a scoreless 8th inning with a walk and a strikeout. He also worked a scoreless 8th in the game Saturday at AT&T Park. Prior to that, he had a 1-2-3 9th against Milwaukee here at Chase Field July 12th. That included a pair of strikeouts to win the ball game, and he got his second save. So much like Heath Bell. He's been much better lately. In fact, this bullpen is really sort of quietly, with all the other issues we've talked about, settled down. And Kirk Gibson said earlier this week that as of now, Brad Ziegler is the closer, but that might change. And there's a leadoff walk to Soriano.
Second walk in the game for Soriano. That's a rarity. Boy, and it goes without saying that's not what David Hernandez or Kurt Gibson or Charlie Nagy wanted to see here after your team puts back-to-back 3 spots on the board in the 6th and 7th. You just don't want to put too many guys on base and give the Cubs an opportunity to feel like they're back in the ball game.
Cody Ransom is 0 for 3, struck out twice. It was after one strikeout in the top of the 3rd that ended the inning that Dale Swain got himself ejected on. Got into a heated argument with Dana DeMuth behind the plate in between innings, and he was ejected from the dugout. Cody Ransom spent the entire 2011 season in the Diamondback system, but played at only 12 big league games. He spent much of 2011 in Reno, where he hit .317 in 101 games. Put up some good numbers that year, 27 home runs and 92 RBIs. Never quite know what to make of both hitting and pitching numbers in the Pacific Coast League, especially at Reno.
Yeah, it's a little tough to read. The ball carries extremely well at most of the ballparks. As the season wears on, the infields get very hard. The ball shoots through.
There's the strikeout. 3rd time they've got Ransom today, all looking. And so Dana DeMuth will go out there and just sort of tilt an ear toward Cody as he slowly walks back to the Cub dugout. Still chatting away.
Well, the one at bat he did not strike out looking in this game was a really pivotal moment in the ball game. He hit a line drive to short to end that 5th inning with the bases loaded.
So a walk and a strikeout here for Hernandez to open the 8th. Here's Deanna Navarro, the switch hitting catcher, who will flip around and bat from the left side. He's a natural right-hand hitter. That one is lifted in the air high and deep to center field. A.J. Pollock is back at the wall, and he tracks it down. Soriano back to the bag. Navarro gave that a ride. Well, he's hitting the ball pretty well these days.
I'll tell you, we talk about the Cubs kind of being a yard sale for the rest of Major League Baseball. If you see anything you like, make an offer. There's a lot of teams that could do a lot worse than Deanna Navarro as your backup catcher.
Well, we saw that both Theo Epstein, the president, and Jed Hoyer, the GM, are here at Chase Field today. They were both down in the field for batting practice earlier today with the trade deadline approaching, a week from tomorrow, in fact. Cole Gillespie. Nate Shearholt's pinch hitting. So they will get the left-hand bat in there against David Hernandez. And Nate the Great is off the bench here. As a pinch hitter this year, Shearholt's 4 for 10, couple of doubles and 2 RBIs. And if there's a left-hand pitcher on the mound, they actually lock him in the clubhouse. And if a right-hander comes in, he's allowed to then leave the clubhouse and go into the dugout.
Yeah, just stay at the team hotel. We'll call you if we need you.
Down the line, that's a foul ball, says Angel Hernandez. But Nate Shearholz had a pinch hit single last night off Will Harris in the 9th inning. And he's been a good bat off the bench here, 4 for 10. Been productive against right-hand pitchers. 278. But against lefties, 192. So he is made for these situations. Drives that one high and deep to right. Cody Ross near the pool. A.J. Pollock is there as well. And it's gone for a home run. Tailor-made situation for Nate Shearholz, and that's a 2-run shot. His 12th this year, and it's a 7-3 ball game.
When the bullpen was really struggling, this was an issue. Heath Bell, J.J. Putz, David Hernandez giving up the long ball. That one was hit high in the air. Cody and Adam Eaton both trying to climb the wall out there near the RamTrucks.com pool to no avail.
So here's Darwin Barney. Nate Shearholz to do that. He's had some big hits, both for the Giants and the Phillies as well when he was there for a brief period of time. Good bat off the bench. So a walk and a home run in the inning from David Hernandez. But he's ahead 0-2 on Darwin Barney. Barney 0 for 3. Popped him straight up in the air. Nieves will give it a look near the Cubs on deck circle. And he's under it, and that's the inning. But a walk to Soriano, a home run by Shearholz off the bench. Lead to 2 Cub runs. Will go home half the 8th at 7-3 Diamondbacks. Come out to Chase Field this Sunday. It's a Fox Sports Arizona Sanderson Ford Kidcaster Day. We'll have auditions from 11:30 in the morning to 1:30 in the afternoon out at the Sandlot here during the Padres Diamondbacks game. And if you're between 10 and 14, you can be up here working alongside Bob Bradley, calling the game. That's this Sunday. Michael Bowden back out there to work the bottom of the eighth. Nate Shearholz, who hit that pinch hit home run, will remain in the game. And he's in there for Colt Gillespie in right field. Didi so far 1 for 3, single in the 5th. That home run given up by David Hernandez was the 34th bullpen home run allowed by the Diamondbacks this year. Only the Padres have given up more. Didi's ahead 3-0. Cliff Pennington is out on deck, and Brad Ziegler is warming up. Pitcher spot is now 5th in the order. Pennington in at 2nd, and Prado has moved to 3rd. There's the walk to Didi to lead off the 8th. He's on base for the 2nd time tonight. And so here's Cliff Pennington. Cliff at .225 on the year with a home run. He's got 8 hits in his last 9 games. Cub guys lost interest. Diamondback guy talking smack. High strike call there. And then in the 6th, we totally blew you out, dude. Like the other guy won't even look up. Yeah, whatever. Then in the 7th, we you see Chavez nailed that ball. Look out. Right behind the Cub dugout, about 4 or 5 rows back. Now if Adam Eaton starts waxing that mustache, you can just use some of the wax.
Multi-purpose.
Chase Field, his staff, attending everyone behind the dugout where the bat landed. Doesn't appear to be anybody that is injured too badly down there. Immediate assistance as always. Here's the 1-2.
I think most people that come to the ballpark hope to get a foul ball to take home with them, but I don't know too many people that hope to get a bat thrown their direction.
How about that? You come home, you walk in the door with holding a bat. So you're holding a bat.
Yeah. Beware of flying objects leaving the field.
And he drives that one to left. Soriano. Didi back to the bag, one away. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool plays of the game is Adam Eaton, his new pre-at-bat ritual, at least tonight. It's worked so far. Adam has been on base 3 times. Let the little guys touch the bat and then go out and get some hits. Get a single in the 4th, single and a run in the 6th, walked and scored a run in the 7th. Of course, it could also be the mustache, but we're keeping our options open at this point.
Absolutely.
Secretly kind of hoping it's the kids, because then you could shave that thing. Bluff back to the bag at first. Didi got it getting a big lead there. So Adam Eaton had hit safely in 4 of his 10 games since he came back from the injury that was going into tonight. So far, 2 singles and a walk. Starting to get back into the everyday flow after missing all that time. He missed the first 89 games with that elbow injury. Now tomorrow, I expect that you'll be here a little later than normal because you'll have stopped at Taco Bell.
Yeah, they'll have it ready, though.
We talked about your different routes to the ballpark yesterday.
They all go past a Taco Bell.
There you go. So you've got one at every location. There's something going on there with McCarthy and Corbin and the facial hair. And frankly, I'm not sure there's a winner.
Tied for second.
Or last. 2-2 to Adam Eaton. Gregorius on first. That one gets through. It's another hit for Adam Eaton, who's on base for the 4th time tonight. Don't shave that thing. There's another Super Mario Brothers tune from the PA here. The boys in the booth are all over that thing.
Nice night for Adam. 3 hits, a walk, scored twice already. Really, the only flaw in the game tonight for Adam Eaton was getting picked off first back in the 4th inning by Travis Wood, but hard to fault a guy who has the speed Adam Eaton does for getting picked off once in a while.
Well, hey, fans, don't forget, big day coming up here at Chase Field. The next bobblehead is of our very own Paul Goldschmidt. It's a must-have, certainly, for the collection. It's August 10th. That is August 10. D-backs and Mets. Get your Paul Goldschmidt bobblehead, courtesy of Audi. And you can guarantee your Goldie bobblehead without having to wait in line. That's big. Just get the Goldie bobblehead 4-pack of tickets and log on to dbacks.com/4pack for more info. Or you can call 602-462-4600. We have both versions up here in the booth with us. Oh, I'm going to leave them right there. All right. Don't yell at me. There they are. Now, we had an issue. Frankly, I'm a little embarrassed. They both have bats. But due to some careless mishandling by the staff here, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. The bats that are in, see, normally it's like this, and there's a bat. See where the pencil is? But they broke off. And these are the only, this is the special gold edition that I think looks exactly like Matt Williams right there. And then this is the regular Goldie edition. Both will have bats when you get them here at Chase Field on the 10th. And I will occasionally tweet out a picture of the Goldie bobblehead. And boy, the Twitter just goes nuts.
Rightfully so.
How do I get one? What do I do? Well, the answer is simple. You come to Chase Field August 10th. And, get the 4-pack of tickets. Don't wait in line. Guarantee your Goldie bobblehead. dbacks.com/4pack. Or 602-462-4600. 1-2 to AJ. I mean, the worst thing that I could imagine is that you go through this whole season without the Goldie bobblehead. Like, that's a swing and a miss right there. Goldie's breakthrough season, all-star season, possible MVP. At the end of the year, it's going to be, well, did you get the Goldie bobblehead? Oh, no, I missed that. What? Can't drop the ball on that one.
And the bobbleheads without the bats look like he's doing some kind of a dance move.
Yeah, they really do. It's not, it still looks good, but it's not quite the same.
As long as the real Goldie has his bat, that's all that matters.
The problem is the gold version up here that the bat came out, and then we can actually put it back in. The regular Goldie version in ours, it actually broke off. I'm just so embarrassed by this. Our careless staff up here, who again shall remain nameless. It's a Goldie bobblehead. It should be encased in plastic at all times. Oh, hold on. The staff has perhaps redeemed itself. Now, Mitch, give me a minute to get this in.
We're going to need some super glue.
Yeah. We got some crazy glue. Oh, this is embarrassing. Wait, there it is. After this pitch. 3-2 to Pollock. That is out of play. All right, now I fixed the situation, Mitch. And Goldie, well, he
fell out.
Yeah, wait, it looks like this.
Yeah.
See? Now the other one got some tape. The staff is helping me out. And this is the bat that goes in the other one. So the point is, when you get these, take good care of them.
Be careful.
That's what we're trying to do. I know you need some of this. But doesn't it, seriously, tell me that doesn't look just like Matt Williams. Come on. Another 3-2 to A.J. Pollock. Right over the governor's head, right next to us here. I mean, seriously, look at that. Is that? It looks just like him. Come on. No? All right. Oh, well.
I'll let you tell Matty.
Yeah, exactly. We'll look like McGuire. It'll look just like Dodger Stadium. That's a pretty good likeness right there. One more 3-2. We'll do it again. All right, now how's the regular version? Does it look like Goldie? Let's do that test. I'll switch them around here for you, Mitch. There you go. There's the Goldie.
Vaguely.
That's a pretty good job. Come on. The eyebrows. So normally this would be like this. Fortunately, AJ's extended this at bat long enough for the bobblehead demonstration. There go the runners. Lifted in the air to center. Lake is backing up, still backing up. Way back there. That ball is off the terrace. Gregorius will score. Here comes Adam Eaton, and A.J. Pollock stops at third. It's a 2-run triple for A.J. His third triple this season, and the Diamondbacks have busted this one wide open. It's 9-3.
Narrowly missed getting out of here. Hit that terrace overhang out there just to the left of straightaway center. Got a fastball down and in. Good grinding at bat.
The second triple of the game for the Diamondbacks.
Just misses that yellow stripe atop that area out there just to the left of straightaway center. You see it hits right there and ricochets back onto the field of play. And man, were they off to the races. Oof. Gregorius, Eaton, and Pollock sprinting around those bases.
AJ had an RBI double in the 6th, and now a 2-run triple here in the 8th. And here is Goldie. He has walked his last 2 times up, the last time intentionally. He's been on base 3 times, singled in the 4th.
10-pitch at bat before AJ hit that triple off the wall in center field.
Hammered to right center. And that'll score another run and roll all the way to the pool. Paul Goldschmidt will stop at second with his 25th double and his 80th RBI. It's 10-3.
The 5 games before tonight, the Diamondbacks had a 1-4 record and had scored a total of 9 runs. That RBI double by Paul Goldschmidt puts number 10 on the board here tonight.
Goldie's been on base 4 times tonight. Here's Cody Ross. Cody is 0 for 4. He is the only Diamondback starter without a base hit tonight. How about that?
Well, you just hope this has a little bit of carryover value. I mentioned it an inning or so ago. It just seems like everybody's taking a deep breath and relaxed. Pressure's all on the guy out there on the mound. They've worked a lot of deep counts, gotten themselves in some good hitters counts. A.J. Pollock, I mentioned, a 10-pitch at bat before his triple.
And Kirk Gibson has talked about BB mixing the lineup around, and he's got some intriguing things. That was his word, intriguing, with the lineup this year as he looks for the right combinations and tries to figure out who's on track and who's not. But if you like the Adam Eaton, A.J. Pollock 1-2, left, right at the top of the order here. Pollock and Eaton tonight, 5 for 9, 3 RBIs and 5 runs scored. And that'll play. And yeah, you're going to have to keep it now. Cody strikes out, and that's the second out. Hey fans, MLB.com at Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. It's available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers D-backs baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. So text At Bat to 31826 or visit dbacks.com for details. I'm a Parra trooper, and here is Gerardo Parra. He will hit for the pitcher spot here, David Hernandez. And Gerardo is one of these guys we've talked about that needed a rest, needed a day off, a chance to sort of reset and refocus. It's been slow going as of late. 2 for 34 right now, Gerardo Parra. Already with as many hits and home runs as he had all of last season. Little chopper over the head of Bowden. Castro has to come in now. And they get Parra at first. That ends the inning. But the Diamondbacks get 3 more. 3 straight 3-run innings that made it a 10-3 ball game.
Struck tools of the trade. Player of the night. Outstanding effort tonight as he bounces back from that trip to the All-Star game. He improves to 12-1 if the D-backs hold on to this one. And also if the D-backs win this game, they are 18-2 in games that Patrick Corbin starts. He went 6 innings, gave up just the 4 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 7 guys. We were kind of curious to see how he would bounce back from all the hoopla from the All-Star game. He had some time off, but once again, he looked fantastic this evening.
Well, he sure did. He has been the man. The Arizona Diamondbacks now, well, will be 18-2 when Patrick Corbin starts after this ball game. Here is Tony Sipp now. Sipp ain't easy, 44 appearances. Dave Sappelt will step in and hit for the pitcher here. So Sappelt, Lake, and Castro 9-1-2 in the Chicago ninth. 10-3. Diamondbacks have the lead here. They've out hit the Cubs 14-6. We talked at the top of the show about the lack of offense, and boy, they have answered big time. 10 runs and 14 hits. There's a strike. Will Nieves took the brunt of that one. It's 1-1 to the Sappelt show. A.J. Pollock, RBI double, 2-run triple. Adam Eaton on base 4 times, 3 singles and a walk. He scored 3 runs. The top of the order, Eaton 1, Pollock 2. And then Goldie, he's been on base 4 times. 2 walks, a single, an RBI double. Martin Prado got it started with that solo shot on an 0-2 pitch in the 5th inning. And that may have been the biggest hit of the game. Got him right back in it. They were down 1-0. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Prado just crushes an 0-2 pitch about 20 rows back in left field. His 9th home run of the year made it 1-1. And after that, the floodgates opened. 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. Paul Goldschmidt. So Zabelt now 2 for 13 as a pinch hitter on the year. That brings up Junior Lake.
You know, talking about coming back from the All-Star game and wondering how Patrick would bounce back. Got very little break, pitched an inning at Citi Field in New York. I think back to the 1983 season, a teammate of mine, Atlee Hammaker, who had an unbelievable first half of the season that year. I believe he was like 9-4.
Wait, didn't he get massacred in that game?
Yes, he did.
Fred Lynn? Was that the Fred Lynn game?
Fred Lynn grand slam.
Nice.
Yeah. He was 9-4 with a 1.70 ERA in the first half of the season. Came back in the second half. It was 1-5. Now the 3.38 ERA is still very respectable, but got injured at the end of the season. Just was never the same pitcher again after the beating he took in the All-Star game. So good to see Patrick bounce back the way he did tonight.
And you could look at Verlander too. Last year he got knocked all over the yard in Kansas City in the first inning last year. Junior Lake talking to himself up there. He singled his last 2 times up. Tony Sipp faced 1 batter in his last outing. That was last night. He walked Anthony Rizzo. Prior to that, hadn't pitched in a while. July 13th, his last time out, before last night. Lake lays off that one, 1-2. And Tony Sipp is a left-hand reliever who's been much more effective against right-hand hitters this year. And it's a fairly drastic split, actually. Lefties batting .273 against Tony Sipp. Righties only .196. Boy, Junior Lake has hit it a mile. His second home run in 2 days. His first 2 big league homers. And the Cubs get 1 here in the 9th. It's 10-4. Good buddy. No thanks. They won't have to track down that souvenir. Junior Lake. He crushed one last night out to left center. And that one was high and deep. I think somebody just pulled the old Wrigley Field trick and threw out a dummy baseball.
Yeah, probably a batting practice home run that he got earlier tonight.
Boy, Junior Lake, 3 hits tonight, 2 singles and a home run. He had 4 hits last night. And the Junior Lake show continues. Home runs allowed by the Diamondback bullpen here in back-to-back innings. Hernandez a 2-run shot to Shearholz in the 8th. And now Sipp gives up the solo shot to Lake in the 9th. That was a no-doubter.
Yeah, slider that just caught way too much plate. He'd have chased that pitch in the dirt. He'd have chased a splitter in the dirt. He'd have chased a high fastball, but got a breaking ball for a strike and absolutely massacred it.
Well, let's see. There's the swing and a miss by Castro. It gets well behind the plate as Will Nieves get all tangled up with Dana DeMuth, and Castro will reach on the strikeout. And Dana DeMuth waits at home plate, brushes it off so he can sort of talk to Will Nieves, and that was my bad.
Very close quarters down there when that ball gets away from the catcher, and obviously the home plate umpire right behind him, and depending on which direction you turn, if Dana goes the wrong direction, you end up a little square dance back there behind home plate.
Well, the cool thing about that was that Dana just waited at the plate for Will to walk all the way back, and he was there ready to say, okay, that one's on me. Popped him straight up. Prado coming in. And that's the second out. So here's Soriano. Are the scouts still? Tim Naring is still down there. The Yankees special assistant to the GM, Brian Cashman. Tim Naring, former Red Sox great, has been scouting Soriano. Has been watching him behind home plate. Followed him through Coors Field and is scouting him. Reported trade with the Yankees in the works, at least being discussed. It's Tim Naring in the black shirt right there. He has followed the Cubs through Colorado and Arizona, as a reported deal between the Cubs and Yankees is on the table, although Cubs GM Jed Hoyer says they've talked to a number of teams about Soriano, so there's a lot of interest out there apparently.
Yeah, and somebody asked me earlier tonight, why wouldn't they just stay home and watch a game on TV? You see every at-bat, you see every play he makes defensively, but when you're talking about trading for a guy and taking on that kind of salary, you want to see everything he does. You want to watch batting practice. You want to watch fielding practice. You want to watch the way he carries himself on the bench.
And he has a tough night here. He strikes out for the second time, and that ends a 10-4 Diamondback win. The offense showed up big time here tonight, and the Diamondbacks keep pace with the Dodgers, who won earlier tonight in Toronto. They had scored 9 times in their previous 5 games. 10 runs tonight, BB, and they are now 18-2 when Patrick Corbin starts.
Well, one thing I learned from Frank Robinson, my first manager in the big leagues, after a game like this, you go in the clubhouse and you say, don't forget how you did it.
10 runs on 14 hits. That was the trick. It all started with a Martin Prado solo shot on the 0-2 pitch in the 5th inning. That tied it at 1, and after that, the Diamondbacks opened up a can. They got 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, and 3 in the 8th. They had a pair of triples and a whole bunch of runs. 10 runs on 14 hits. They win at 10-4. Let's go out to Joe and Jody, guys.
All right, Joe, a lot to get.